Chapter 338. Broken bricks and rubble floated in the air. In the ruins of the Star Palace, two experts faced each other. Their majestic auras made it hard for countless geniuses to breathe. On one side, there was a pitch-black realm beast with a physical body of several 100,000 zhang. However, due to its severe injuries, it was only giving off an early void refinement stage aura. On the other side was Ning Fan, who was gently playing with his hair with his fingers and wearing a smile on his face. Even though his actions were gentle and feminine, the qi that he gave off was just at the early void refinement realm. Moreover, his qi was showing signs of weakening. But in terms of aura, it was even stronger than the realm beast. Liu Bei or the realm beast, who will win? Why do you still care about this? We only have one mission now, and that is to escape. Following the destruction of the Star Palace and the arrival of danger, these experts from the northern sky no longer dared to stay there. One by one, they took out their star compass and fled along the void. Even those female cultivators who were infatuated with Ning Fan had no choice but to leave under the urging of their senior and junior brothers. This place was already the battlefield between Liu Bei and the realm beast. Regardless of who won or lost, the battle would affect a vast area, and anyone who stood here to watch would undoubtedly die. Tens of thousands of Northern Sky's chosen were no longer concerned about the ownership of the Imperial Star. They only hurriedly fled. However, be it Ning Fan or the realm beast, both of them were staring at each other at the moment. They did not care about the person who had just left and were fighting against each other's aura force. With a loud bang, the aura force of the realm beast was defeated by Ning Fan, who was possessed by Luo Yu. Who are you? Possessing the body of an ant from the lower realms, yet knowing about the matters of the Jia clan, he is definitely not a nobody. The realm beast panted heavily, its eyes filled with killing intent. In terms of aura force, he might not be as strong as Luo Yu. However, in terms of the strength of his physical body, Ning Fan, who was possessed by Luo Yu, was certainly not as strong as the realm beast. Roar! Along with a deafening roar, the realm beast raised its claw and slapped the air in front of it. Even though his cultivation base was greatly damaged, the strength of his physical body was still present. The force of his claw directly turned into a 100,000 zhang large pitch-black palm imprint and slammed down on Ning Fan's head. Realm Palm Technique. The terrifying palm print caused the void to tremble wherever it passed. Looking at the gigantic palm above her head, Ning Fan. No, Luo Yu's beautiful eyes turned grim and she let out a soft snort. You want to bully me with your beast body? Humph. What you don't know is that Big Sister's bloodline secret technique specializes in restraining all kinds of body refinement cultivators. A cluster of beauties and flowers can bury a hero. 3,000 weak waters can bury a hero. This is an unchangeable principle. 3,000 weak waters technique. A trace of water blue magic power flowed to his fingertip with the help of his physical body. Luo Yu's hand seals changed continuously as she pointed to the sky. Immediately, layers of aqua blue pools appeared above her head. This pool was called the weak water. The weak water icy pond had a total of 9 levels. The realm beast's palm print, which was 100,000 zhang long, smashed into the serene pool and easily destroyed the water. However, every time a pool of water was destroyed, there would be a strand of strange blue mana that entered the palm print, causing it to immediately weaken. After collapsing the first layer of serene pool, the palm print was still 500,000 zhang long. After collapsing the third layer of the serene pool, the palm print was only 30,000 feet long. After collapsing the sixth level of the serene pool, the palm print was still 50,000 zhang long. After collapsing the ninth level of the serene pool, the palm print was only 10,000 feet long. The power of this 1,000-foot palm was only equivalent to an attack from a normal soul formation cultivator. With the help of Ning Fan's physical body, Luo Yu held the sky with her white hand and slapped the sky with her soft palm, directly shattering the 1,000-foot palm print. At the moment when the palm print was destroyed, traces of water blue qi penetrated the palm print and entered the body of the realm beast. As soon as the trace of water blue chi entered the body of the realm beast, its gigantic body immediately began to shrink rapidly. In the end, it was only 1,000 zhang long. 3,000 weak water technique. You're a member of the Luo clan. The realm beast's expression changed greatly. According to rumors, the Luo clan of the Northern Heaven had a bloodline secret technique called 3,000 weak water technique. It was a terrifying ability that could seal the strength of one's physical body. The realm beast was planning to suppress Luo Yu with the strength of his beast body. However, he did not expect that Luo Yu would use a secret technique to seal the terrifying strength of the realm beast. 3,000 weak water technique can bury heroes. Even if you have a true immortal realm body refinement cultivation base, once you're hit by this technique, your strength will be greatly reduced and your muscles will become weak. All the geniuses of the Northern Heaven had already fled. Thus, no one had witnessed how strange and terrifying this technique was. If I run into Luo Yu's clansmen in the future, I must be careful. This weak water technique is a little heaven-defying. To the cloaked burly man, it was already meaningless for him to transform into his beast form after his strength was sealed. With a shake of his body, he transformed back into his human form. Under the cloak, a pair of dark green eyes were filled with hatred. You're a remnant of the Luo clan. If I kill you, it will be a great merit for me. With your damaged primordial spirit, you first broke the power of my ancestral talisman and then sealed my body refinement realm. You don't have much strength left. I'm afraid you won't be able to use any of the secret techniques of the Luo clan anymore. The burly man sneered. He took a step forward and directly rushed towards Luo Yu. Even if his strength was sealed, the defense of his physical body was still there. In a head-on collision with Luo Yu's fists, the cloaked burly man definitely had the upper hand. Luo Yu's beautiful eyes turned cold. Her primordial spirit was damaged. After using the Yin melting technique and the weak water technique consecutively, her primordial spirit became even weaker. She could no longer endure the torment of a large-scale secret technique. Seeing the burly man's ferocious fists coming at her, Luo Yu could barely defend herself. She tried to use Ning Fan's physical body to block the attack. However, her shoulder blade was directly hit by the burly man's fist, breaking all of her bones. Luo Yu was not good at body techniques at all. Seeing that his first punch was successful, the burly man sneered and sent more punches towards Luo Yu. While dodging left and right, Luo Yu kept getting hit by his punches. Naturally, all of the punches landed on Ning Fan's physical body. Let me do it. You just need to borrow the power of my primordial spirit. In his mind, Ning Fan could not stand it anymore. Luo Yu was not good at body techniques. Even if she sealed the realm beast's true immortal realm strength, she still did not have the upper hand. I'm sorry. I'm not good at close combat. You do it. Luo Yu felt guilty and blamed herself. It was because of her that Ning Fan's physical body was severely injured. Ning Fan's physical body instantly closed its eyes. Facing the incoming punches of the burly man, he did not dodge them at all. In the eyes of the burly man, Ning Fan's actions turned into mockery. Humph. Now that you know you're not my match, are you giving up? Seeing Ning Fan lowering his head and waiting for his death, the burly man naturally thought that victory was already in his grasp. However, when his punch landed on Ning Fan's body, it did not feel like he had hit anything tangible. At the same time, Ning Fan, who was hit, opened his eyes abruptly. His eyes shone brightly. His body dispersed into countless black shadows. After dispersing and condensing, they condensed into a black-haired, cold-looking young man in black robes 1,000 zhang away. You seem to be very happy to be chasing me. You're also very happy to be hitting me. Breaking and condensing. Breaking and condensing again. After breaking and condensing his body several times, Ning Fan examined his body with his spirit sense. The bones that were broken by the burly man had already healed with some difficulty. Even though there were still some injuries, they were no longer a hindrance to him in battle. Realm Beast, die. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. He had been chased by the realm beast along the way and was on the brink of death several times. At this moment, the realm beast's chi power had been sealed by Luoyu, causing its cultivation base to drop to the void refinement realm. As for Ning Fan, he had also reached the void refinement realm with Luoyu's help. At this moment, Ning Fan had the qualifications to fight against the burly man on equal footing. Luoyu was not good at physical combat, but Ning Fan's body technique was not weak. Boom! Ning Fan's fist met the burly man's fist light. When both of their fists collided, both of them were pushed back 10,000 zhang in the void. Then, they immediately engaged each other in combat. It was difficult to determine the victor within a short period of time. What was different was the expression of the two of them. Ning Fan's eyes were as cold as ice. He was calm and unmoved by everything in the world. The burly man's eyes, however, were filled with anger. Incarnation technique? And you've even cultivated it to the level of self-recovery? But so what? The burly man felt even more humiliated. Given his identity, if it wasn't because of his severe injuries and his chi power being sealed by Luoyu, it would not be difficult for him to crush Ning Fan to death. A mere divine transformation realm ant actually dared to exchange blows with him. Even though the burly man remained unscathed with his strong physical defense, his heart was filled with rage. You're just an ant. Scram! 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 The burly man roared angrily, causing countless void storms to swirl. No matter how hard the burly man's fists were or how violent the void storms were, Ning Fan would condense into a black shadow every time his body was destroyed. Then, he would launch another attack. There were no techniques or fancy moves. All he had was the will to fight to the death. The cloaked burly man's physical defense was so strong that Ning Fan could not injure him. As for Ning Fan's incarnation technique, his injuries became more and more severe after the attacks of the cloaked burly man. It was not that Ning Fan's incarnation was invulnerable. It was just that Ning Fan's previous opponents were too weak and they could not injure him at all. The realm beast, however, was different. His attacks constantly damaged Ning Fan's incarnation. Fresh blood drenched his black robes. His entire body was burning with pain. However, Ning Fan's eyes were as cold as before. He would not be shaken by any emotion, not be shocked by any powerful enemy and not be confused by any illusions. His incarnation was heartless, emotionless and fearless. Boom! After another clash of fists, Ning Fan was sent flying tens of thousands of zhang away. The realm beast, on the other hand, was not having a good time either. It was continuously attacked by Ning Fan. Even though it was not directly injured by Ning Fan's attacks, it caused countless wounds on its body to open up, aggravating its previous injuries. The prodigies of the northern heaven who had already fled 1 million li away from the battlefield halted their steps with lingering fear in their hearts. They had finally escaped to a safe distance. However, they were still paying close attention to the battle between Ning Fan and the realm beast. Each of them took out their secret treasures such as the heavenly abode mirror and the image transmission stone to observe the battlefield outside the Star Palace. However, as soon as they saw what was happening in their secret treasures, none of them could remain calm. The black-robed young man who was fighting the realm beast with all his might was extremely thin and weak. However, he had such a cold expression on his face. He was fearless. From the very beginning, this young man who was called Liu Bei had never been afraid of the realm beast. When the group of prodigies saw the realm beast fleeing for his life, Ning Fan remained at his original spot and continued to exchange blows with the realm beast. The ruins of the Heaven Palace were dyed red with fresh blood. However, no matter how much blood he shed, Ning Fan became braver as he fought. I don't know what kind of secret technique this Liu Bei is using. His cultivation base is obviously at the mid-divine transformation realm, but he's borrowing the strength of an early void refinement realm cultivator to fight against the realm beast. From the looks of it, it's the primordial spirit possession technique. It seems like there's an expert's primordial spirit hidden in Liu Bei's body, and the reason why he was able to draw with the realm beast was because he borrowed the power of this expert. So what if I borrow the strength of others? Those that could be used for one's own use were considered a type of strength, weren't they? Besides, even if he borrowed the primordial spirit of others to temporarily display the strength of a void refinement realm cultivator, it would still be impossible for him to go head-on against this realm beast's physical body. This Liu Bei seems to have used some kind of secret technique to force the realm beast to be unable to display the strength of its physical body, making it unable to display any true immortal realm body refining technique. What? There was actually a secret technique that could seal one's physical strength in this world. This is too heaven-defying. Each of the young men discussed animatedly. In their eyes, Ning Fan's image became even more profound and unfathomable. Each of the young ladies' eyes were filled with infatuation. In their eyes, the feminine Ning Fan had a unique temperament. However, the current Ning Fan who was cold and indifferent made these young ladies of aristocratic clans who lived like princes and princesses. He's very handsome. Ning Fan did not know how many geniuses were paying attention to him. At this moment, he was unprecedentedly focused. His eyes were only on the cloaked burly man. His incarnation crumbled again and again, aggravating his injuries. However, Ning Fan had already forgotten about victory or defeat. There was only one obsession in his mind: I must hold on until the moment Yuanya recovers her cultivation base. In this world, there were too many times when you knew that you could not defeat your enemy but you must never retreat. Ning Fan's consciousness gradually blurred. His demon blood was boiling. While he was in a trance, the memories of his bloodline flowed into his sea of consciousness. Ning Fan seemed to be seeing illusions. It was the scene of the birth of the Fu Li clan in the ancient times. There was no Fu Li in this world until one day, when a young man in purple robes single-handedly massacred the desolate Ian and unified the demon race. On that day, most of the members of the demon race surrendered. These members of the true spirit realm were properly settled down by the young man in purple robes. On that day, a few old ancestors of the true spirit realm swore to never surrender. They fought until the very end and burned up the last drop of their demon blood. After they died, they received the respect of the young man in purple robes. With his great abilities, he resurrected them and gave them a new life. Then, he gave them the title of the Fu Li clan. The tilt of the heavens, the heart of Li Bandit. Only those who would not kneel in defeat and would not surrender even in death were qualified to monitor the heavenly Tao and uphold justice. The members of the Fu Li clan are the ashes of those who would not surrender even in death. When I met the Fu Li clan, I accidentally awakened the Fu Li blood. However, it was not a coincidence. In the unseen world, I am also unyielding. The path of cultivation is always going against the heavens. If I can't straighten my back, I won't be qualified to aspire to the strongest cultivation realm at all. Ning Fan's eyes gradually became clear. A hint of enlightenment rose in his heart. A battle of blood for blood had unexpectedly improved his mental state and cultivation base. The realm beast could no longer endure it. He looked down on ants and he was even more unwilling to fight an ant on the same level as him. In his eyes, Ning Fan was just an ant, the most detestable ant in the world. Damn it! If only I have a way to kill this brat. That bitch is hiding in the golden flame chariot while the chariot is kept in his storage pouch. As long as I kill this brat and that bitch, everything will be over. While he was planning, two giant doors suddenly appeared in the void. The doors opened and an old man in black robes walked out from each of the doors. Both of them had ferocious eyes. As soon as the two of them appeared, their eyes turned grim. Hey Mu, the great elder asked you to kill that bitch. Why are you entangling yourself with a divine transformation realm ant? The appearance of the two of them was too sudden. When the giant doors opened, countless geniuses of the northern heaven were immediately shocked. The realm gate technique. Another two true immortal realm beasts have descended to the lower world. Not good. Run now. The sudden change made tens of thousands of experts of the northern heaven no longer have the intention to spy on Ning Fan. All of them fled in panic. The appearance of the two of them made Ning Fan's eyes turn grim. After exchanging a punch with the cloaked man, he immediately distanced himself from them. His chi became weak and his body straightened. Another two true immortals. Ning Fan's 7 apertures were burning with blood. His eyes were cold and heavy. Today, I might have to pay with my life here, Realm Gate. Yi Lu, Yi Gu, why are you here? The cloaked man's eyes were filled with displeasure. You have to ask yourself this. After killing a bitch who sealed her own cultivation base, she still hasn't returned to the clan to submit the mission. The Great Elder was a little anxious. Where's Hei Wu? He's dead. He was killed by that bitch. Trash. 2 true crossing realm experts chased after a bitch who sealed her own cultivation base. One of them died and the other was injured. Where's that bitch? Her life plate hasn't been broken yet. Why are you entangling yourself with a divine transformation realm brat instead of killing her? The 2 black-robed old men looked at the cloaked man with sarcasm. Their sarcastic expressions made the cloaked man burn with anger. If it wasn't for a series of reasons, he wouldn't have killed Yuan Yao earlier. Why would he embarrass himself by entangling himself with Ning Fan? Don't be too proud of yourself. That bitch is in his golden flame carriage in his storage pouch. After killing this brat, we can kill that bitch. The 3 of us will attack together and kill this brat. As soon as the cloaked man finished his words, the 2 true immortals' eyes immediately fell on Ning Fan. They weren't the cloaked man who was in his peak state. At this moment, they could crush Ning Fan like an ant. One of the old men took a step forward. The force of that step immediately caused countless cracks to spread in the void. All of a sudden, Ning Fan coughed out a mouthful of blood. He was already severely injured. Hand over that bitch. This old man will guarantee your survival. The old man called Yi Lu sneered. Don't even think about it. You're courting death. Yi Lu took another step. Ning Fan's muscles and bones were all broken. Blood gushed out from his body like a fountain, but he was still standing. Don't even think about it. Ning Fan looked at the 3 of them with a sneer. Perhaps he would die because he was too weak. However, his cultivation base could be weak but his heart couldn't be. If he gave in, even if he could survive and become stronger, it wouldn't be worth mentioning at all. Oh. This brat's life is quite tough. However, you will die for sure when I take my next step. I'm currently at an important juncture of tempering my state of mind. I really don't want to kill anyone. This old man will give you one last chance. Hand over that bitch. Don't even think about it. Ning Fan sneered. His smile immediately ignited the old man's anger. Good. Good. You have guts. Do you want to die? This old man will fulfill your wish. Yi Lu's killing intent condensed on his foot. As long as he took a step forward, Ning Fan would definitely die. However, before his foot landed, a million li was suddenly suppressed by an arrogant and peerless aura force. A golden light flashed in Ning Fan's storage pouch. A beautiful woman in palace attire slowly walked out. Her heart ached when she saw Ning Fan was severely injured. I don't like killing people, but I don't like him getting injured even more. All of you must die. Chapter 339. Looking at the cold-looking young man who was covered in blood, Yuan Yao's heart ached. She could not imagine what kind of tough battle Ning Fan had gone through and what kind of torture he had to go through to accumulate such heavy injuries. All along, Yuan Yao had been intentionally avoiding Ning Fan because reality reminded her that there were some things that she should not even think about. However, at this moment, she could no longer hide her feelings. When she saw Ning Fan's heavily injured appearance, she could not suppress the fear in her heart. Will he die? He can't die, if he dies. If he dies, her shoulders were trembling. She did not even dare to look at Ning Fan at this moment. She did not dare to touch Ning Fan's body because there was not a single part of his body that was unscathed. Yuan Yao bit her lower lip until it bled. Her eyes were filled with sorrow and tears flowed down. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You paid such a huge price to protect me. It's not worth it. I obviously can't give you anything. Ning Fan, who was severely injured, obviously had no strength to lift his fingers. However, he still wiped the blood off his face with difficulty and put on his usual harmless smile. Facing Yuan Yao's self-blame, he shook his head disapprovingly. Miss Bei Yao, you came too late. If I die, won't you become a widow? Pa! Don't talk nonsense. Yuan Yao's tears flowed to the corner of her lips. However, she laughed because of Ning Fan's words. This brat is always so irritating. He's already so injured, but he still has the mood to joke around with me. Speaking of which, whose primordial spirit did Ning Fan borrow previously belong to? Why does his chi feel so familiar? Yuan Yao shook her head. Now was not the time to think about these things. As long as she saw that Ning Fan was not dead, she would feel relieved. Her phoenix eyes turned cold. There were some debts that needed to be settled with these realm beasts. Thank you. You protected me just now. From now on, I will protect you. Her phoenix eyes were very cold. She had never been so angry before. Even if she was called a lowly slave by these realm beasts, she did not care. However, when she saw Ning Fan being injured by the realm beasts, she could not calm down. You guys shouldn't have provoked me like this. Just now, were you the one who stepped on him and injured him? Yuan Yao's graceful figure suddenly took a step forward and landed on the ground. The soft shoes seemed to be weak, but with this one step, a shocking aura swept across the void for millions of kilometers. With this one step, the void within 1,000,000 kilometers seemed to tremble in fear. With this one step, the three realm beasts coughed out blood and their expressions changed drastically. Bitch, bitch. You've recovered your cultivation. Not good. Run. She's at the Shidong stage, we're definitely not her match. Without hesitation, the two black-robed elders formed hand seals and attempted to open the realm gate to escape. At this moment, the cloaked man's teeth were trembling. When Yuan Yao was at her peak, he didn't even have the courage to resist. However, a crack had just appeared in the dimension gate when Yuan Yao raised her foot and stomped it hatefully on the ground. Layers of the void were torn apart by an unstoppable force. As soon as the two-dimension gates appeared, they were immediately crushed by Yuan Yao's stomp. The three realm beasts were just about to flee when she took a step forward, causing them to cough up blood again. The cloaked man's injuries were especially severe. After Yuan Yao took 2 steps forward, his powerful true immortal level demon body exploded with a loud bang. Arg! The cloaked man let out a miserable cry. His physical body was destroyed, leaving only his demon soul. His expression was filled with panic. He suddenly knelt down and kowtowed to Yuan Yao, begging for mercy. Fairy, please spare my life. He Mu was being foolish just now. That's why he chased after you. Please forgive me. As for the other 2 true immortals, they exchanged glances with each other when they saw how powerful Yuan Yao was. Their eyes turned ruthless and they activated the ancestral talismans on their backs. Ancestral talismans, break. Each of them had 6 ancestral talismans while the other had 7. The rest of them had been used in the previous battle. The destruction of the ancestral talismans was powerful enough to destroy the Heaven Palace Hall. However, Yuan Yao didn't even look at the light of the ancestral talismans. She pointed her finger and layers of magical power spread out, sealing all the power of the ancestral talismans. With another point, all the ancestral talismans of the 2 true immortals vanished into thin air. A powerful finger force landed on their chests, causing them to cough out blood. They were seriously injured. Facing Yuan Yao, the 2 true immortals didn't even have the strength to fight back. This scene fell into the eyes of the Northern Sky's proud sons and daughters who were millions of miles away. They were all astonished. Who is this woman? She's too powerful. She just appeared and made 3 true immortals want to die in fear with just 2 steps. I don't know. Her cultivation level is too high. It's not something we can pry. Our cultivation level is too low. Unless she wants to, we can't even see her appearance. She casually injured 3 true immortals and made the dignified Dujin realm beast kneel down and beg for mercy. Could it be that this woman is an old monster of the void-rending realm? But I clearly saw this woman running out from Liu Bei's storage pouch. Could it be that this woman is a senior of Liu Bei's clan? Void-rending realm. When they thought of this realm, the hearts of the northern sky's proud sons and daughters went numb. The 7 realms of cultivation was the first realm. From the vein opening realm to the void fragmentation realm, one needed to understand the word void. After mastering the word void, one could break the void, ascend and become an immortal, breaking through to the immortal realm. The 3 realms of cultivation was the second realm. An expert who had just broken through the peak of the void fragmentation realm and successfully ascended was the first realm, life immortal realm. Life immortals were divided into human immortal and ghost immortal. Human immortals understood the word life, while ghost immortals understood the word death. When a cultivator reached the peak of life immortal realm, he would be immortal and have a limitless lifespan. However, what followed was the minor heavenly tribulation and the major heavenly tribulation. The realm higher than life immortal realm was true immortal realm. True immortal realm was divided into 3 realms. The key was to understand the word truth. The purpose of cultivation was to understand the truth of the Tao. The first realm of true immortal realm was the Dujin realm. The second realm of true immortal realm was the void-rending realm. The 3 world beasts were only at the Dujin realm. However, Yuanya was already an expert at the void-rending realm. Although the 2 of them were only 1 realm apart, the difference between them was like the difference between heaven and earth. To make an analogy, it was like the difference between a void fragmentation realm old monster and a nascent soul realm cultivator. They were invincible. No nascent soul realm cultivator could defeat a void fragmentation realm old monster. There was also no Dujin cultivator who could defeat Shikong. Even when Yuanyao sealed her cultivation base to the void fragmentation realm, she could still kill one of the world beasts and severely injure the other one. Now that she was at her peak, killing the 3 world beasts was as easy as killing ants. With Yuanyao's cultivation base at her peak, if she did not want anyone to see her face, no one under the void-rending realm would be able to see her face clearly even if she did not wear a veil. These geniuses of the northern heaven did not know that Yuanyao was the palace lord of the Lost World Palace. They also did not know that Yuanyao was not Ning Fan's senior but his woman. Even though they did not know it, the respect that these geniuses had for Ning Fan was already indescribable. What exactly is this Liu Bei's identity? Could he be a posthumous child of one of the 10 great secret clans in the lower world? Otherwise, why would he have old monster Shikong protecting him? Old monster Shikong is a ruthless person who could destroy the 9 worlds in the lower world with a single palm strike. Even in the upper world, each old monster Shikong is an existence that can be counted with one's fingers. No one dares to provoke them. Liu Bei must not be provoked. Damn it. The old ancestor of my Yuan family is just a human immortal realm cultivator. Normally, I would be extremely grateful to him for giving me some pointers. My goodness. This Liu Bei has a void-rending realm helper with him. Who dares to provoke him? Who dares to touch him? This group of geniuses was already stunned. All the male cultivators were in awe of Ning Fan. On the other hand, the female cultivators were even more infatuated with Ning Fan as if he was their Prince Charming. In their eyes, even though Ning Fan was a little skinny and weak, his appearance was not bad. When he was feminine, he was very special. When he was cold, he was cool and handsome. His strength was astonishing and he had a glorious battle record. Since he could defeat Zichuan, he might have already killed Lin Su. His character and strength were top-notch. More importantly, he could easily bring out a void-rending realm helper. A typical tall, rich and handsome man. Even though these young girls were the outstanding figures of their respective sects and forces, there was nothing wrong with young girls falling in love with heroes. It was just like how men fell in love with beautiful women. They were watching from the side. Many of them were even preparing to send a voice transmission to their clans to report what had happened here. However, just as the geniuses took out their voice transmission flying swords and voice transmission compasses, they all collapsed without any warning. Then, a cold and noble voice of a lady was heard. No one is allowed to stay here. You are not allowed to report what happened here to your clans. Anyone who disobeys this order will be killed by me. Each of the geniuses of the Northern Heaven realm was frightened. They were threatened by a void-rending realm old monster. Would they dare to disobey? Of course not. Retreat. Retreat now. I'll warn you first. If anyone dares to use a secret technique to leak what happened here on the way back to the Northern Heaven realm, don't blame me for killing you mercilessly. A half-step void refinement realm old monster coldly glanced at the group of young men and threatened. Yuan Ya had already asked these geniuses to scram and forbid them from sending any messages. This old monster did not dare to disobey her. However, he was afraid that some of them would send a message to their clans, provoking Yuan Ya to kill them and implicating the other innocent people. Therefore, he had to say the ugly words first. The old man's words immediately gained the support of countless people. Old ancestor Yuan Ming is right. Whoever dares to send a message and offends this void-rending realm senior, I will kill him without hesitation even if you are a genius. I will kill whoever dares to send a message. I agree. Yuan Yao's words directly made tens of thousands of geniuses yield obediently. None of them dared to disobey her. When one's reputation reached a certain level, one would not even need to use a mental seal to make others not dare to disobey her orders. This time, the geniuses of the Northern Heaven completely left. Among the three realm beasts, other than the cloaked burly man who was kneeling on the ground, the two true immortals looked terrified. Yuan, my name is Bei Yao. Yuan Yao looked at Ning Fan worriedly, afraid that he would know her identity. She was afraid that she did not dare to tell him her identity in the past. Now, she was even more afraid to do so. In the past, she did not dare to do so because she was afraid that Ning Fan would plot against her. Now, she did not dare to do so because she was afraid that she would implicate him. She and Ning Fan must not have any relationship. Even if she had to protect him now, they could not be together. It was because Yuan Yao was the Palace Lord of the Lost World Palace. It was an extremely special identity. If she breaks the rules, she would die and Ning Fan would also be eliminated by countless forces. Her phoenix-like eyes coldly swept across the three realm beasts. The cloaked burly man was still kowtowing to apologize. The other two realm beasts felt their souls tremble. They gritted their teeth and knelt down as well. Bei. Fairy Bei Yao, we were reckless and have offended all of you. All of this was the Great Elder's order. We were just following his orders, the Great Elder, huh? Yuan Yao gritted her teeth but did not say anything. It seemed like she had already guessed it. Her phoenix-like eyes stared at Ning Fan indifferently. When she saw his injuries again, her heart ached again. She had never been a vicious woman. However, today, she wanted to be vicious for once. It's useless to kneel before me. I want the three of you to kowtow to Liu Bei. Bei Yao's face was as cold as ice. What? We are dignified true immortals of the Crossing Truth Realm. How can we kowtow to a divine transformation realm ant? Yuan Yao's body tilted slightly. It seemed like she had moved a little but at the same time, it seemed like she was standing still on the same spot. However, a terrifying palm print was left on the cheeks of the three experts for no reason. Half of the teeth and bones on their faces were shattered. Shockingly, this was done by Yuan Yao at a terrifyingly fast speed. You can scold me but you can't scold him. Damn it, the three true immortals had their own pride. They could submit to Yuan Yao but to Ning Fan was even worse than death. However, if they do not want to die, they must kowtow to Ning Fan. The three of them gritted their teeth as if they were suffering great pain. In the end, they kowtowed to Ning Fan 9 times. Yuan Yao's face revealed a cold and resentful smile. It was the first time she showed such an expression in her life. In the past, she blamed Ning Fan for being so vicious to the White Devil sect. Today, she finally understood that no matter how kind a person is, they would still be vicious if someone important to them was harmed. You have kowtowed to me, but I still won't show any mercy. I don't like to kill people, but I hate to see them get hurt even more. Liu Bei, you lost 2 spiritual puppets when you were being chased by them, right? Now, I will give you 3. Sacrificial puppet technique. The pain in Yuan Yao's heart turned into a ray of purple light and she pointed her finger at them. At first, it was just one ray of purple light. Eventually, it divided into 3 rays and went into the bodies of the 3 experts. As soon as the purple light entered their bodies, it immediately turned into purple flames and engulfed the 3 experts. The purple flames burned their bodies, causing them to scream in agony as they died. Their eyes were filled with hatred. You didn't keep your promise. We have already knelt down. I have never said that I will let you go. Now, appear. Sizzled out within the purple flames, the demon souls of the 3 experts were extinguished, leaving only their physical bodies. Ning Fan had been watching Yuan Yao's every word and action without interfering. However, when he saw Yuan Yao killing the 3 experts with hatred and even refining them into spiritual puppets, he could not help but feel a little pity for her. You don't have to force yourself. Killing has never been a happy thing. I know you don't like to kill people. With your help, it might be better for me to kill them myself. But they hurt you. Yuan Yao's eyes no longer had a hint of nobility like before. There was only confusion and trembling. Self-blame, guilt and fear. She was afraid of how crazy she would be if Ning Fan died. Puff, Yuan Yao spurted out a mouthful of blood. Her face immediately turned pale. The purple flames on her fingertips burned and then stopped, leaving only 3 incomplete spiritual puppets. Her vision turned black and she almost fainted. In fact, she had not completely recovered her cultivation base. However, when she saw that Ning Fan was in danger, she did not want to wait any longer. She forcefully refined a large amount of magic power into her immortal veins at the cost of harming herself. Bei Yao. Ning Fan's eyes were a little nervous. He held Yuan Yao and checked her internal qi. Only then did he realize that she had not completely recovered her cultivation base. She was just forcing herself to come to save him. I'm sorry. These are 3 great true immortal corpses, but I failed to refine them into spiritual puppets. Yuan Yao hated herself for being useless. Perhaps, she was about to part ways with Ning Fan. Perhaps, they would never meet again. Before they part, she wanted to refine 3 immortal puppets for Ning Fan, but she couldn't even do it. They are just incomplete spiritual puppets which are only equivalent to early void refinement realm cultivators. Can they really protect Ning Fan? I like these 3 spiritual puppets very much. Early void refinement realm, huh? It just so happens that with my current cultivation base, I definitely won't be able to control a void fragmentation realm or an immortal realm puppet. Moreover, I might even be devoured by the puppet. Ning Fan pinched Yuan Yao's wrist playfully and praised the 3 realm beast spiritual puppets without hesitation. Then, he immediately kept them into his storage pouch. After being touched by Ning Fan, Yuan Yao seemed to have regained some of her strength. She retracted her hand angrily and her eyes were filled with struggle. You were ridiculous the last time. This will be the last time. Watch your limits. Yuan Yao felt both heartache and anger towards Ning Fan, who was injured. He was clearly half dead, yet he still came to tease her. Did he want sex more than his life? But, thank you for protecting me all the way here. If I have the chance, I will definitely repay you in the northern heavens. Yuan Yao said earnestly. When Ning Fan did not betray her even when facing 3 true immortals, she could not help but feel touched. How are you going to repay me? Ning Fan purposely glanced at Yuan Yao's ample breasts. You don't even think about it. Yuan Yao was slightly nervous and crossed her arms across her chest. I must never do it with Ning Fan a third time. The first time was an accident, the second time was helplessness, and the third time, he would be in deep trouble. He had to protect his bottom line. Chapter 340. The 18 layers of gates of life and death were floating strangely in the void space. They were faintly discernible and there were 9 chances of survival and 9 chances of death. If one were to enter the gates of death by mistake, even a void refinement realm expert would certainly die without a doubt. Fortunately, Wei Xian had already identified the 9 doors of life for Ning Fan and he had even entered 6 of them. Of the remaining 3 life gates, one of them led to the place where Lu Wu was sealed. In the void, there were ruins of mountain rocks and debris floating everywhere. In the ruins, Ning Fan and the ladies stood on the star compass. All of them were staring at the gate of life and death. Among them, Ning Fan consumed a few 5th revolution healing pills to suppress his injuries. Purple light flashed in his left eye as he activated the Fu Li Eye, trying to identify who among the 3 life gates had sealed Lu Wu. As for the other women, they either sighed, rejoiced, or lamented. Most of them found it hard to believe that they were still alive. Beside the girls, 1 dragon and 1 serpent were injured, but they were still protecting them. In addition to these 2 corpse puppets, there were 3 more cloaked puppets with green eyes. Brother Liu Bei, is it true? These 3 puppets were all refined from true immortal world beasts. Sister Bei Yao is so powerful. Shi Ran's eyes sparkled like stars. She held a long sword and knocked on the 3 new puppets. I can't be wrong. These 3 puppets were made from the corpses of perfected immortals. Even though they were only semi-finished products, all 3 of them possessed early spatial tempering stage power. That's right. Ning Fan sighed with emotion. If it wasn't for Yuan Yao's help this time, perhaps he would have really died. Yuan Yao did not completely recover her cultivation. After killing the realm beast, she sealed her cultivation to the deity transformation realm again. However, the seal this time around was only temporary. As long as Yuan Yao was willing, she could break the seal at any time and unleash the power of the Sky-Split realm. Sealing his cultivation would reduce the burden on his immortal meridians and help him recover from his injuries. That was all. As for Luoyu, because she had lent Ning Fan her primordial spirit power, her damaged primordial spirit was on the verge of collapse. In order to protect herself, she had sealed herself in the yin-yang locket and went into a deep slumber. Ning Fan did not tell Yuan Yao about Luoyu. He just secretly made up his mind that after returning to the Endless Sea this time, he must find some primordial spirit nourishing items to help Luoyu recover the power of her primordial spirit. No matter what, it's all thanks to Bei Yao that we were able to survive. I just didn't expect Bei Yao to be a shedding void realm expert. Wu Yan looked at Yuan Yao with gratitude in her eyes. Her words made Yuan Yao feel ashamed. If it wasn't because of me, all of you wouldn't have been chased by the realm beast. It's all my fault. Alright. Don't thank me, I apologize to you. Let's get down to business first, little cucumber. Which life gate should we enter? We can't delay it any longer. If there are other realm beasts chasing after us, it will be troublesome. Yes, we do need to hurry. Ning Fan nodded his head and activated his Fu Li Eye to its limit. Of the 9 doors of life, the 6 paths didn't need to enter, so he only needed to choose 3. Among the 3 snow-white gates, only one of them flickered with a trace of golden light. As soon as his Fu Li Eye caught the trace of golden light, he immediately flicked his sleeve without hesitation, sweeping up all of his women and spiritual puppets. Then, he turned into a ray of light and entered one of the living doors. The moment they entered the giant door, all 18 of the giant doors collapsed. The strangest thing was that the entire Star Palace disappeared without a trace in a split second. A few days later, the 3 realm gates opened again in the void ruins. 3 experts walked out of the gates one after another. All of them were realm beasts at the true immortal realm. The leader of the three was holding a tracking compass in his hand. It seemed like he had come here to track Yuan Yao. A trace of Yuan Yao's qi was sealed inside the compass. As long as the distance between them was within 10 billion li, it would be able to display Yuan Yao's location. However, just as the three of them were on their way to the Star Palace, the light dot on the compass that represented Yuan Yao's location flashed and disappeared. The leading elderly man stared at the ruins with a gloomy expression. The Star Palace has disappeared. That bitch has also disappeared. What's going on? Could it be that that bitch has hidden herself in a medium-sized world? Humph. That bitch is lucky. She actually managed to escape. How are we going to explain this to the Great Elder when we return to the clan? Explain. Just say what you want to say. The life tablets of He Wu, He Mu, Yi Lu, and Yi Gu in the clan have been broken. They are naturally dead. For true immortals were chasing after a bitch who sealed her own cultivation base, but all of them died. The Great Elder is very angry. Just now, on our way here, we captured a few juniors and searched their souls and memories. In their memories, they seem to have mentioned a divine transformation realm young man named Liu Bei who fought He Wu to a draw. After that bitch also appeared from that young man's storage pouch. Could it be that the reason why He Mu and the others failed to kill that bitch was because of that young man's interference? That's impossible. Even if He Mu is severely injured, he is still a true immortal realm cultivator. How is it possible for him to fight a divine transformation realm cultivator to a draw? That bitch has already disappeared. Let's return to the clan quickly and report this matter to the Great Elder. After the three of them finished their discussion, they stepped into the realm gates and left. Ning Fan did not know that the Star Palace had gone missing because he had entered the correct life gate. He also did not know that a few days after he entered the Star Palace, there were people chasing after him again. Inside the life gate, there was a sea of clouds that was made up of clouds and mist. Ning Fan and the others walked for a few days in the sea of clouds and finally arrived at a gigantic palace that was made up of clouds and mist. The palace that was made of clouds and mist was so huge that they could not see the top of it at all. What was even more strange was that there were jade stairs and pillars in the palace, but there was no door to enter it. Even though there was no door to the palace, they could faintly sense a hint of obscure and ferocious qi from it. It seemed to be the sealed Lu Wu. The killing formation surrounding the palace was even more terrifying. If there are any demons who enter this palace without permission, they would probably die immediately. Even though there were no stars in this place, it seemed to be the hub of all the starlight. It could decide the ownership of all the star power in the Star Palace. Even Yuan Yao was a little surprised when she saw this palace for the first time. What a magnificent cloud palace! If I'm not mistaken, there is an immortal emperor realm killing formation above this cloud palace. Unless one has the key to the Star Palace or has the cultivation base of an immortal emperor, no one can enter this palace. This place is most likely the center of the Star Palace. I didn't expect that such a palace would be sealed in a Star Palace that has been desolate for hundreds of millions of years. Even Yuan Yao was surprised, let alone the other women. Only Ning Fan's eyes were calm. He had seen many of such huge palaces that he could not see the top of in his dream of reincarnation in the ancient heavenly court. This is an immortal palace. It's the residence of an immortal emperor. Perhaps, this was one of the sleeping chambers of the Heaven Sovereign. Is Lu Wu inside? Lu Daochen once said that the reason why he begged me to let him go was because I'm a human. That's why I can enter this palace. I have the royal bloodline, which is why I can wash away Lu Wu's sin seal. The sin seal is the punishment that the large true spirit clan gives to traitors. It's a seal of sins. Those who are inflicted with the sin seal will have their souls trapped even after they die. They won't be able to reincarnate and will be tortured all day long. As for the formation light of this palace, it seems to be specially set up to monitor the demon race. Is this the reason why Lu Daochen took a fancy to my identity as a human? However, there are no doors on all four sides of this huge palace. How am I supposed to enter it? Perhaps, I should call for Lu Wu and ask him to open the door from the inside? Swoosh! A thought flashed across Ning Fan's mind. He immediately took out an ancient scroll painting and opened it. The painting depicted a demon marshal who was wearing golden armor with a tiger's head. He was riding on a golden flame chariot which was pulled by 9 demon beasts. The lands that the golden flame chariot passed through were herb gardens that were full of spiritual qi. Behind all the herb gardens in the background, a majestic and massive palace made of clouds and mist could be vaguely seen. It looked almost the same as the huge palace in this place. This painting was given to Ning Fan by Lu Daochen. According to the legends, it was painted by a painting immortal of the ancient heavenly court. When the painting was revealed, Wu Yan, she ran and Yu Lingkong's eyes lit up. This is an immortal painting. The paintings of mortals can at most pass off the fake as genuine. In the end, it's just an illusion. However, the paintings of immortals can bring the things in the painting back to life. Even though this is just a scroll painting, it must have been created by a true immortal. How is this a painting? It's obviously a magic treasure painting scroll. Yu Lingkong was the first to praise it. That's right. If this painting falls into the hands of a Void Refinement Realm cultivator, it will be a void treasure which can summon the Void Refinement Realm beings in the painting to help them kill their enemies. Even if the immortal who created this painting isn't at the Shedding Void Realm, he is most likely at the Peak Crossing Truth Realm. Yuan Yao's eyes were higher and she could see more accurately. Ning Fan did not explain the origin of this painting. Instead, he was looking for a way to open the huge palace. This painting was given to him by Lu Daochen. From a certain point of view, it could also be considered as Ning Fan's keepsake. Ning Fan took a light breath and cupped his fists towards the direction of the huge palace. I'm Lu Bei of the Luoyun tribe. I'm here to help Demon Marshal Lu Wu remove the evil seal and retrieve the Emperor's star at the request of General Yun. Please open the palace door, General Lu. Ning Fan's clear voice reverberated around the Cloud Palace 3 times. After repeating it 3 times, there seemed to be the sound of some gigantic creature moving inside the huge palace. As if it was awakened by Ning Fan, traces of strong breathing could be heard. In the end, a hoarse and heavy voice that sounded like thunder resounded from inside the Cloud Palace. General Yun. The person invited by Lu Daochen. There's no mistake. This painting is exactly the one that Immortal Jin Ling gave me. Since Lu Daochen gave you this item, it shows that you are a trustworthy person. However, you said that you have 2 objectives for coming here. One is to help me cleanse my evil seal and free my soul. The other is to retrieve the Heavenly Emperor's star. Is that it? Rumbled. That voice suddenly became majestic. It was filled with a strong aura force. This aura force was not any weaker than a peak Void Refinement Realm expert. The aura force turned into a strong gust of wind as if it was testing Ning Fan. When the gust of wind reached Ning Fan's body, the purple star in his left eye flashed. Immediately, the gust of wind dispersed. That's right. I came here to fulfill my promise and also to retrieve the Emperor's star. Please open the palace door, General Lu. Ning Fan's tone was neither humble nor arrogant. Swish. He kept the scroll of painting. Then, he patted his storage pouch and took out a black chess piece. Lu Wu, who was inside the huge palace, seemed to be quite shocked when he sensed that Ning Fan had actually blocked his aura force with the power of his ancestral blood. A mid-divine transformation realm cultivator managed to block my aura force. This young man is not weak. When Lu Wu saw Ning Fan take out the black chess piece, his eyes immediately widened in shock. You have obtained His Majesty's approval. Ning Fan did not know the meaning of this black chess piece, but Lu Wu did. In the past, before he went into hibernation, he had given Lu Daochen a key. However, that key was just the first step to obtaining the inheritance of the Emperor's star. The second step was to use the key to open the trace of remnant will that Heaven Emperor left in the Star Palace and obtain his approval. The third step was to comprehend the power of Heaven Emperor's black star with this black chess piece. Since Ning Fan could obtain the black chess piece, he had naturally obtained the approval of Heaven Emperor's remnant will. Of course, he was qualified to obtain the inheritance of the Emperor's star. There was no need for other tests. Almost instantly, Lu Wu was ready to open the door of the palace. However, when his eyes fell on the female corpse behind Ning Fan, he was so shocked that he forgot to open the door. Princess. Inside the huge palace, a gigantic beast with white fur was crouching on the ground. He looked old and feeble. His eyes were dim but his expression was calm. As soon as he saw the female corpse, his eyes shone with excitement. He never thought that he, Lu Wu, would be able to see the princess 150 million years after the Heaven Court was destroyed. After the Heaven Court was destroyed, Lu Wu was deprived of all his memories like the other survivors. However, he still remembered the Heaven Emperor and the princess. If he was just surprised by Ning Fan's ancestral blood, at this moment, he was surprised as to why Ning Fan could travel with the princess. In a daze, Lu Wu seemed to have an illusion. At this moment, the young man outside the Cloud Palace was not an expert who possessed ancestral blood. Instead, he was a butterfly. A butterfly that he had seen many times in the Heaven Court. Bang! The light of the killing formation around the Cloud Palace dimmed. After a loud bang, a gigantic door was blasted open. Your name is Liu Bei, right? You can enter the palace and receive the inheritance of the Emperor's star. However, the others are not allowed to enter for the time being. This palace has an immortal formation set up by the Heaven Emperor. Other than those who have obtained the chess pieces of the Heaven Emperor, no one else can enter unless they have the cultivation base of an immortal emperor. You have a black chess piece in your hand. As for me, I have a white chess piece. You, come in. Lu Wu opened the gigantic door of the Cloud Palace. However, it could only allow Ning Fan to enter alone. Leaving the ladies to wait outside, Ning Fan took a step forward and turned into a trace of purple smoke, leaping into the Cloud Palace. Holding the black chess piece in his hand, Ning Fan had a feeling that he could be immune to all attacks in the Cloud Palace with this chess piece. Therefore, he was not worried about being attacked by Lu Wu or any other unforeseen events after entering the Cloud Palace. Inside the Cloud Palace, there was neither light nor lamps. It was as dark as a cellar. Inside the vast and spacious palace, the echoes of Ning Fan's footsteps could be heard from time to time. After walking for an unknown period of time, Ning Fan stopped. Even though it was dark in front of him, he could see through the darkness with his Fu-Li eye. In the darkness in front of him, a gigantic beast that was 8,000 zhang was crouching on the ground. Its body was snow-white and it did not have any impurities. It was an incomparably gigantic cloud beast. However, this cloud beast was not a real entity. Instead, it was an illusion. The snow-white body of the beast was covered with blood marks in a strange manner. I'm Lu Wu. I don't know why, but I feel like I've seen you before. This is really strange. The gigantic beast revealed a strange expression. Perhaps we've really seen each other before. Ning Fan still remembered that when he peeked into the samsara, he called out Lu Wu's name involuntarily and Lu Wu heard him. Perhaps they had seen each other before when they were peeking into the samsara. Or perhaps, Lu Wu was just familiar with the butterfly in his previous life. Ning Fan did not intend to explain. He just felt a little regretful. The Lu Wu in front of him was undoubtedly a dead person. He was clearly dead, but his soul was sealed in this place, preventing him from entering the samsara. He recognized Mu Weiliang, but other than remembering her identity, he probably could not remember whether she was alive or dead or why she died. This is the samsara. Under the power of the samsara, even a demon general who was once a regent can only lose his or her memory. His understanding of reincarnation had increased a little. Ning Fan's gaze passed through the darkness and landed on the blood marks on the gigantic beast's body. He frowned and said, "Is this the sin seal?" Is this the thing that sealed your remnant soul, preventing you from entering the samsara after your death and causing you to be tortured every day? That's right. This is the sin seal. Before I fell into a deep slumber, a large true spirit clan had asked me for the Heavenly Emperor's star. However, I did not hand it over in the end. Instead, they planted the sin seal on me, trying to force me to submit. Even though I have forgotten the reason why the heavenly court was destroyed, I still remember His Majesty's order. The Heavenly Emperor's star must not be handed over to the demon race. In the current True Spirit clan, anyone who retains the royal bloodline is a traitor of the past. The gigantic beast's expression was a little angry, but eventually, it calmed down. It had forgotten too many things. It even forgot the whole story of the betrayal of the True Spirit clan. If you can help me remove the sin seal, I will naturally be happy to enter the samsara again. If you can't do it, it's fine too. This matter is not important at all. You just need to take this white chess piece of mine and combine the black and white pieces to comprehend the star technique of the Heavenly Emperor. The gigantic beast opened its mouth and breathed out a ray of white light. It was exceptionally dazzling in the darkness. The white light condensed and turned into a white chess piece, falling into Ning Fan's palm. When he held two chess pieces in his palm at the same time, traces of enlightenment were transmitted into Ning Fan's mind through the chess pieces. Every single one of those enlightenment was related to the starlight body tempering technique. At the same time, countless pitch-black stars suddenly appeared on the peak of the white clouds outside the Cloud Palace. All of these stars were condensed from the power of the entire Star Palace. The rolling pitch-black star power entered the Cloud Palace and flowed into Ning Fan's body. In just an instant, the severe injuries on Ning Fan's body healed at an unbelievable speed. This is His Majesty Heaven Sovereign's Black Star Technique. With this technique, even the injuries inflicted by an immortal emperor can be healed in an instant. The more severely injured a person is, the easier it is for him to comprehend the profoundness of this technique. You are very lucky to have come here with such severe injuries. At the moment when your injuries are healed, your chances of comprehending this technique are quite high. Lu Wu said enviously. However, Ning Fan did not have the time to reply to his envious words at all. His mind was completely immersed in the black starlight. His mind was filled with the conversation he had with the Heaven Sovereign in the broken dream in the past where he played chess step by step. This is the Black Star Technique. If I learn this technique, even if I have just learned it, no matter how many Divine Transformation Realm cultivators injure me in the future, I will be able to heal them within a short period of time. If I study it carefully, not only will I be able to heal Ning Gu's body, but I can also help Ning Honghong and the other Whaleyang recover their physical bodies. This is a great opportunity. I must succeed in comprehending it. After all, this is the Celestial Emperor's special secret technique. Chapter 341. He closed his eyes as if he had forgotten the entire world. When he opened his eyes, his mind was immersed in a world of starlight. Black crystals that emitted a dim light were embedded in the sky. Each of them was the source of the star power of this world. He reached out his hand and summoned a crystal. When he held it in his palm, his expression immediately changed. As soon as he held the crystal, it shattered and turned into a ray of black light that went into his body. All of a sudden, Ning Fan felt pain all over his body. Even the devil marks on his back seemed to be burning hot. What is this crystal? His eyes gradually calmed down. The pain he felt when the crystal entered his body had faded. However, when he looked inside his body, his expression suddenly changed. It was because he realized that after the crystal entered his body, the demon power and magic power in his body did not increase, but the devil chi in his body increased by 1 trace. In other words, devouring a piece of black crystal in this world would increase his devil chi by 1 unit. Not only that, Ning Fan also realized that after devouring the crystal, the strength of his physical body seemed to have improved a little, slowly advancing towards the 3rd level of the Jade Life realm. Most importantly, when he raised his finger, a ray of black starlight shot out from his finger. This is Natal star power. Devouring the crystals in this world can not only increase my natal star power but also improve my devil cultivation base. Does this mean that the nature of the black star is similar to devil chi? After Lu Wu gave me the white chess piece, I obtained many insights. All of them were the inheritance of the Heaven Sovereign. One of them was the method to comprehend the black star technique. The first step to comprehend the black star technique is to understand the difference between the black star and the other stars. I have already comprehended it before. The second step is to condense the natal star power. The third step is to condense the natal star with the star power. As long as I condense the first natal star, I will be able to cultivate the black star technique. In the future, if I get injured, I can summon the natal black star and use the star power to heal my injuries. To condense a natal star, I need at least 10,000 traces of natal star power. In other words, I only need to devour 10,000 black crystals to condense the first natal star. Ning Fan's eyes swept across the surroundings. This was the world in his mind. The number of crystals in this world was definitely no less than 50,000. If he could devour all the crystals here, he would be able to condense at least 5 natal stars. At the same time, he would be able to increase his demonic chi by 50,000 units and his demonic cultivation by 50,000 units. This is an opportunity. Once I devour all 50,000 crystals here, I'll be able to increase my demonic energy by 50,000 and break through to the soul formation intermediate stage. In this way, my demonic power will be at the mid-divine transformation stage, and my demonic power will be at the mid-divine transformation stage. Although my magic power will still be at the half-step divine transformation stage, as long as my magic power breaks through the mid-divine transformation stage, I will be able to break through to the late divine transformation stage when the time comes. There were more than 50,000 crystals in this place. It was a good opportunity for Ning Fan to improve his devil cultivation. In the world of his mind, Ning Fan was like the only ruler. His fingernails were forming complicated and incomprehensible hand seals. Then, he opened his mouth and inhaled. Billowing black wind blew, rolling up a few crystals that were embedded in the ground and swallowed them into his stomach. In just half a day, he had already devoured nearly 1,000 crystals. His demonic cultivation had increased by 1,000 units, and he now had 1,000 strands of natal star power in his body. Faintly, half an illusory black demonic star was forming in his right eye. In his mind, Ning Fan was busy devouring the star power. Outside his mind, Ning Fan's physical body was standing still in the giant palace. His eyes were tightly shut and he did not move at all like a statue. After devouring 1,000 crystals, the 50,000 strands of black starlight that were entangling his physical body had been reduced to around 1,000. These 1,000 strands of starlight were increasing Ning Fan's devil chi and improving his physique. In front of Ning Fan's physical body, the giant beast Lu Wu's eyes gradually turned solemn. The Heaven Sovereign once said that the most difficult part of condensing a natal star is the first one. In the process of condensing the first natal star, one needs to devour 10,000 traces of star power. The most dangerous part is indeed the 1,000th trace. All living beings have souls and so do the stars. When a cultivator condenses 1,000 traces of natal star power for the first time, he will face the first test of his star soul. Can he pass it? In the world of his mind, Ning Fan had no idea what was happening in the outside world. At this moment, he was sitting cross-legged on the frosty sky, refining the 1,000 pitch-black crystals in his body. 1,000 crystals were equivalent to 1,000 traces of star power. As the crystals were completely refined, not only did his devil cultivation base improve tremendously, but his aura force also caused 1,000 traces of black starlight to fly around his body. It was a beautiful sight. Sensing the starlight entangling his body, Ning Fan revealed a satisfied look. He could feel that after condensing 1,000 traces of natal star power, his injuries were recovering at a much faster speed. However, after a while, the starry sky in front of him suddenly trembled. A ferocious beast roar resounded in front of him, resounding across heaven and earth. Ning Fan immediately rose to his feet and was on full alert. At a place where the star power was the strongest, a total of 1,000 traces of crystals suddenly collapsed. The star power gathered and turned into the shadow of a gigantic pitch-black beast. Roar! A bestial roar resounded. The eyes of that gigantic beast glinted with ferocious light. It dashed towards Ning Fan with the terrifying aura force of a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator. The power of the starry sky is not something an ant can comprehend. I, the star soul, am here to take your life. That gigantic beast spoke the human language. As soon as its voice fell, it immediately opened its mouth and breathed out a sea of flames, engulfing Ning Fan. Star soul, huh? Ning Fan murmured to himself. His eyes were calm as he calmly walked out of the sea of flames without suffering any injuries. With a sway of his body, he instantly vanished without a trace. At the next moment, he was already standing on top of the gigantic beast's head with his hands clasped behind his back. The star soul of a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator is nothing to be afraid of. Break! Ning Fan lifted his foot and stomped on the gigantic beast's head, which was as large as a mountain. As soon as he stomped on it, the gigantic beast revealed a horrified expression. It let out a shrill howl after being stomped by the tremendous force. In the end, with a loud bang, the beast's body exploded and vanished into thin air. Ning Fan opened his mouth and inhaled. The 1,000 traces of starlight that formed the gigantic beast's body were all sucked into his stomach. In the Cloud Palace, Lu Wu's face was filled with astonishment. Just a few breaths ago, Ning Fan's natal star power had reached 1,000 traces and triggered the first attack of his star soul. However, in just a short while, Ning Fan destroyed the star soul and seized 1,000 traces of his opponent's star power. Lu Wu's expression did not change at all. After condensing 1,000 traces of natal star power, one will encounter the first star soul. This star soul usually has the strength of a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator. This Liu Bei is obviously just a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator, but he managed to kill the star soul of a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator in just a breath's time. This man's combat power is rather terrifying. Is he invincible among those at the same level as him? He's indeed worthy of being the person who was bestowed the black chess piece by the Heaven Sovereign. However, I wonder if he can still remain so calm when he encounters the second attack of his star soul after condensing 5,000 traces of star power. In the world of his spirit, Ning Fan quickly refined the 1,000 traces of star power that he had seized. As such, there were already 2,000 traces of natal star power in his body. Starlight flashed around his body. Ning Fan accelerated his speed to the maximum. Like a trace of purple smoke, he teleported between heaven and earth. Ning Fan dug out crystals from the ground and swallowed them into his stomach to refine the star power. One day later, the number of natal star power in his body had already reached an astonishing 5,000 traces. After successfully condensing 5,000 traces of star power, the star power in front of him suddenly became chaotic. Nearly 3,000 traces of crystals shattered and the scattered star power condensed into a gigantic star soul beast which was even larger than the previous one. Roar! As the gigantic beast roared, the earth trembled and the mountains shook. The aura force of a late divine transformation realm expert was released violently. The power of the starry sky isn't something an ant can comprehend. I, the star soul, am here to take your life. The gigantic beast opened its mouth, wanting to breathe out star flames again. However, this time, Ning Fan did not even give it the time to open its mouth. Looking at the ferocious beast which was 2,500 zhang in size, Ning Fan's expression remained unchanged. He pointed out a finger and a purplish-golden sandstorm suddenly blew across the sky. This purplish-golden sandstorm had the power to corrode everything. That power was samsara, the power to turn everything into ashes and dust into dust. Roar! Before the gigantic star soul beast could launch its attack, it was suddenly shrouded by the purplish-golden sandstorm. Its scales, which were as hard as metal, directly turned into quicksand within the sandstorm. Its eyes were filled with disbelief. Its body was trembling. It used to be arrogant because it thought that it was the star's soul while Ning Fan was just an ant. However, in front of this purplish-golden sandstorm, the gigantic beast felt an irresistible fear. Ning Fan was not an ant. In front of this wind-mist finger, everything in the world was just an ant. In the midst of its miserable shriek, the gigantic beast turned into ashes and dissipated in the wind. 3,000 traces of star force were absorbed into Ning Fan's stomach from the corpse of the gigantic beast. It's 8,000 traces now, Ning Fan muttered to himself. In the Cloud Palace, Lu Wu's eyes widened in surprise. If Ning Fan had instantly killed a star soul of the same level as him earlier, he was impressed by Ning Fan's ability to instantly kill another star soul that was one level higher than him. Not everyone could kill an enemy that was 1 in 10,000. Those who could do it were all heavenly prodigies who were 1 in 10,000. At least, Lu Wu knew that he was not that kind of heavenly prodigy. He did not have the ability to kill an enemy that was at a higher level than him. However, Ning Fan did it with ease. What Lu Wu could not understand the most was the purplish-golden sandstorm that rose around Ning Fan's body when he killed the second star soul. What technique is this purplish-golden sandstorm? I was once a demon marshal of the Heaven Court. Although my cultivation base is not high, I have seen many experts. However, I have never seen any expert who could display the power of this purplish-golden sandstorm. The power within the sandstorm is very terrifying. It's not something that I can understand. Lu Wu's eyes became complicated. In the beginning, he only treated Ning Fan as a divine transformation realm junior. Now, however, the way he looked at Ning Fan was almost as if he was his peer. I can't see through this Liu Bei. Even if this young man was in the Heaven Court in the past, I'm afraid he could be considered as an outstanding talent among the Divine Transformation Realm heavenly generals. In his mind, after devouring a large number of crystals, Ning Fan sat in the sky with his legs crossed and began to refine them. For 3 days in a row, he was not moved by external objects. 3 days later, he suddenly stood up. His body was surrounded by 10,000 rays of starlight. 10,000 Tao. It's time to condense my first natal star. A heaven sovereign had 1 million natal stars. When 1 million stars appear, he could resist the attacks of immortal emperors without dying. What Ning Fan condensed was just his first natal star. Compared to the heaven sovereign in the past, it was just a drop in the ocean. It was insignificant. However, this star was of great significance. It was the first step for him to learn the Black Star technique. He could not afford to make any mistakes. Roar! When Ning Fan condensed 10,000 rays of star power, the roar of a beast reached the sky. Between heaven and earth, nearly 10,000 black crystals crumbled. 10,000 rays of star power condensed into a 3,000 zhang large ferocious beast. A star soul. Moreover, this star soul had the cultivation base of a peak divine transformation realm expert. As long as I destroy this star soul, I can condense my first natal star. Ning Fan took a step forward. Black chi surrounded his body and his white robes turned into a black robe. Before the star soul had the chance to say anything, his body had already exploded into countless black shadows and collapsed. The shattered black shadows vanished from heaven and earth. At the next moment, they appeared around the body of the giant star soul beast and turned into countless black shadows. They rushed towards the beast as if they were dyed by thick ink. All of a sudden, the giant star soul beast's expression froze as if it had seen something unbelievable. At the next moment, the black shadows dispersed and condensed into a young man in black robes. As for the body of the giant beast, it shattered with a bang, turning into countless blood mists in the sky. It was actually killed by that black shadow in an instant. At the moment when the beast died, the first black star rose at the end of heaven and earth. A strange feeling emerged in Ning Fan's body. His muscles, bones, and skin began to fester and decay. However, they were immediately filled up by the pitch-black starlight and he regained his vitality. His muscles and bones were being reconstructed. Every inch of his muscles was filled with more strength than before. Is this star power tempering body? Ning Fan's eyes were filled with joy. He could feel that after condensing the first black star, his body was once again reconstructed. He was reborn and became stronger. The first time he experienced rebirth was during the second corpse transformation realm. This time, it was star power tempering his body. I'm going to break through to the third level of the Jade Life realm. Ning Fan could feel that his physical body was breaking through to the next level. In the Cloud Palace, Lu Wu was full of admiration. He had already sensed that Ning Fan had instantly killed the third star soul and completely condensed his first natal star. In this way, Ning Fan could be considered to have grasped the preliminary mastery of star technique. Even a peak divine transformation realm star soul was instantly killed by this young man. Is this young man really just a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator? Even I am starting to doubt it. Hee. This young man is extraordinary. I'm afraid there are few who can be his match below the void refinement realm. If this young man was born in ancient times, he would surely be the candidate of an immortal emperor if he fought against the various heroes for the Tao. Lu Daochen invited him. That Chen brat's eyes are always sharp. Chapter 342. 1 day, 10 days, 100 days. In the world of his mind, Ning Fan sat alone for 100 days and had already devoured 50,000 crystals. The world of his mind was filled with darkness. Only his body was emitting a faint black starlight. It's about time. Ning Fan slowly rose to his feet and muttered to himself. The devil chi around his body had already reached 83,470 units. With such dense devil chi, his cultivation base had broken through to the mid-divine transformation realm in terms of devil cultivation base alone. The combined power of all the gods, demons and devils in his body had already exceeded 150,000 units. In other words, even if his cultivation base had yet to break through to the late divine transformation realm, the density of his magic power had already reached the standard of a late divine transformation realm expert. If he uses the soul extracting technique now, it would probably be enough for him to reach the peak divine transformation realm with the help of the secret technique. Not only did his devil chi increase, but his physical body had also improved to the third level of the Jade Life realm. In the first place, he was already a corpse devil body which unlocked the limits of the human body's power and defense. After going through the refinement of the starlight, the strength of his physical body had greatly increased. The body of a cultivator at the third level of the Jade Life realm was on par with other cultivators at the fourth level of the Jade Life realm. With just the strength of his physical body, he could fight against a peak divine transformation realm expert. These were just the improvements in his cultivation base. What delighted Ning Fan the most was another benefit. His long hair fluttered in the wind. Suddenly, he raised his head and pointed at the sky. In his right eye, the second black star had completely condensed. It was called the Star of Body Refinement. Its effect was to use the power of the stars to heal and cure injuries. As he pointed at the sky, 5 pitch-black stars appeared one after another, sprinkling black starlight down. Under the 5 rays of starlight, Ning Fan's injuries had already been healed. The effect of a ray of starlight healing was equivalent to consuming a 5th revolution pill. The effect of 5 rays of starlight healing was almost equivalent to consuming 5 5th revolution pills. If I condense 1 million stars, even if my cultivation base is low, ordinary immortal emperors won't be able to kill me. This technique has great potential. If I cultivate it well, it will certainly become an indispensable trump card for me in the future. Ning Fan nodded. He was extremely satisfied with this emperor's star inheritance. The purpose of his trip to the Broken World and the Star Palace was to improve his strength. Today, the results were obvious. Other than his magic power which was still weak and he had yet to attain the divine transformation realm, his demon power and devil chi had been cultivated to an extremely high level. Even if the current Ning Fan returns to the external endless sea and enters the internal endless sea, he would still be able to move unhindered without being afraid of the demon sealing sect. Moreover, if the master of the demon sealing sect, Lu Jiefan, encounters Ning Fan, he would need to avoid him. That day when I entered the Endless Sea, in order to save Suqiu, I provoked the demon sealing palace. Now, the demon sealing sect is no longer a threat. Ning Fan's tone was calm. He had really become stronger. Even if he returns to Yu country, he would be able to take over a territory and proclaim himself as the old ancestor of the country. He would be invincible below the void refinement realm. Perhaps, after returning to the outer endless sea this time, I can settle some karma and enter the inner endless sea again to help you, or reclaim the divine space island. After that, I can go home. Go home. I've been away from home for too long. Ning Fan looked at the stars above his head and his eyes turned gentle. Even though he was shouldering tremendous pressure and cultivating bitterly, compared to many people, he was already blessed. He had a family, a wife, a master, a younger brother, and an ordinary but warm past. Perhaps I still have my mother. Ning Fan was a little expectant. He killed mortals in the cloud sea and saw his mother in the illusion. He would never forget those scenes. Perhaps his mother was still alive somewhere in the world. Perhaps, there would still be a day for them to meet again. Speaking of which, I didn't have a father or a mother since I was young, and I've never experienced the warmth of a parent. To a cultivator, it's a pity to lack this level of understanding. Moreover, from the bottom of my heart, I also want to meet my mother. Ning Fan put away his complicated thoughts. He knew that now was not the time to think about these things. Returning to the outer endless sea meant reuniting with some people. At the same time, it also meant parting ways with Yuan Yao, Shi Ran, Wu Yan and the other women. From Ning Fan's point of view, he had already left an unforgettable memory of being together with them through thick and thin. He had never said any flowery words to his women. All he did was to give them his sincerity in exchange for their sincerity. Since he was reluctant to part with them, the three women would probably be reluctant too. Moreover, before he left, he still needed to fulfill Lu Daochun's request and remove the Sin Seal for Lu Wu. Once the Sin Seal is removed, Lu Wu would be free from the pain of being burned by the Sin Seal every day. He could then enter samsara and begin his next life of reincarnation and cultivation. I'm leaving, it was as if he was talking to himself. However, the world in his mind immediately collapsed like an illusion. In the Cloud Palace, Ning Fan, who had been standing still for 100 days, opened his eyes. His aura force was at least twice as strong as before he received the Emperor Star's inheritance. You're awake. Good. Good. You've already grasped the Celestial Emperor Star technique. Amazing. If you have the opportunity in the future, you might even have the chance to become the next celestial sovereign if you carry this technique forward. Lu Wu lowered his body and looked at Ning Fan with eyes full of praise. Senior, you must be joking. Ning Fan shook his head. He was a man who had his feet on the ground. Now that he was just at the divine transformation realm, he was countless cultivation levels away from the celestial sovereign realm. Thus, he would not indulge in idle fantasies. I've told you before that I have two objectives for coming here. One is to obtain the Emperor Star's inheritance and the other is to help you remove the Sin Seal. Now that I've obtained the Emperor Star, I can completely complete my mission if I remove the Sin Seal. Sin Seal, huh? Hee hee. I believe you can remove it. Lu Wu's eyes were filled with anticipation. The Sin Seal had been planted on him for far too long. It would act up every night, making his body feel like it was burning and the pain was unbearable. When he died, he could no longer be resurrected. Only his remnant soul was left. As for this remnant soul, it was sealed by the Sin Seal and could not be reincarnated. To cultivators, death was something they couldn't do anything about. It meant that they would lose all of their cultivation base and they would have to start all over again. However, as long as their soul did not disperse and they still had the chance to enter samsara, they would still be able to live another life. To mortals, death was terrifying. To cultivators, however, what was scarier than death was having one's soul dispersed and being unable to reincarnate. It was exactly because they valued samsara so much that they were willing to give up on it that Ning Fan was shocked. Just like that day when the old ancestor of the Hu clan, Hu Fengzi, was willing to sacrifice his soul for the prosperity of his clan and condense a cultivation pill in exchange for Ning Fan's help to protect his clan. The cultivation world was cold and selfish. However, at the same time, there was also warmth, righteousness, and touching. Senior, please bear with the pain for a while. I will help you remove the sin seal now. Ning Fan tapped the tip of his feet and soared into the sky, landing on the back of the giant beast. He crouched down and touched the blood-red sin seal on the back of the giant beast. Just by touching it, the sin seal released a terrifying heat that burnt his fingers. The power of this sin seal was a little more terrifying than what Ning Fan had imagined. Fortunately, this little injury was nothing to be afraid of at all. The tip of his finger was surrounded by black starlight. Just a little bit of starlight was enough to heal his burnt finger, making it as good as new. The black star healing technique really lived up to its reputation. With this technique, Ning Fan was a divine doctor. It was as easy as flipping his hand to revive a person with white bones. The sin seal is the punishment that the large clans of the true spirit realm give to the demons who have sinned. Ever since the demon race lost their spirit, a large number of members of the true spirit clan no longer have the royal bloodline. Only a few members of the true spirit clan still have the royal bloodline. This sin seal can only be planted and removed by those with the royal bloodline. This means that once the sin seal is planted in you by the large clans of the true spirit clan, you must obey the orders of the clan. Otherwise, no one will remove the sin seal for you. Then, you will no longer have the chance to reincarnate and you will have to suffer for eternity. Lu Wu's eyes darkened. His tone was filled with anger. It was imaginable how humiliating it was for him to be forced by the true spirit clan to plant the sin seal in him. If you can't remove the sin seal, then forget it. This is just a small matter. I have been enduring this kind of pain for more than 100 million years and I have already gotten used to it. However, I will not give in the end. The moment I put on the heavenly marshal's armor, I have already disregarded life and death. Lu Wu's eyes were filled with heroic spirit. Ning Fan had seen that kind of heroic spirit in the eyes of many demon generals of the Lu clan before. There were not many people like them in the cultivation world who would burn their blood and swear that they would not surrender even if they died. However, there were quite a number of them in the 9 divisions of the Lu clan. It was the heroic spirit of raising one's arm and shouting as a general, "There is no need to fear death. Don't worry. I have promised Lu Daochen to save you. This mere sin seal is nothing to me." The person who planted this sin seal does not have a weak bloodline. He has almost condensed half a drop of ancestral blood. However, a mere half a drop of ancestral blood is too weak in my eyes. Ning Fan bit the tip of his tongue and spurted out a purplish-black blood mist. As soon as the blood mist landed on Lu Wu's back, the indelible blood-red sin seal began to tremble. So what if it's a sin seal with half a drop of ancestral blood? He has 4 drops of ancestral blood in his body. If the Fu Li clan still exists, he will be the ancestor of the clan. Break. The purplish-black blood mist glowed with a dim light and formed a secret formation mark on Lu Wu's back. At the moment when the formation mark took shape, the purplish-black light around Lu Wu's body shone brightly. Within the light, the sin seal that was deeply rooted in Lu Wu's body was corroded and dissipated with a sizzling sound. Huff. Lu Wu's body suddenly trembled and he exhaled a mouthful of murky qi. His eyes were filled with surprise. The sin seal was broken. He was free now. His remnant soul could re-enter samsara. Within the dim cloud palace, white light shot up to the sky all of a sudden. Those white lights were all shot out from Lu Wu's remnant soul. In the dazzling white light, his soul seemed to have evaporated as if it had sensed the call of samsara. Thank you. Thank you. I am going to re-enter samsara. Thank you. Lu Wu's eyes were filled with surprise. After re-entering samsara, this life would be over. In the next life, he would be reborn. It's a promise I made and a promise I will do. That's all. Senior, you don't have to thank me. Ning Fan leaped down from the beast's body and stood on the ground. Looking at Lu Wu, who was rising to the sky in the white light, his eyes were filled with gratification. Everyone had their own happiness. To many people, death was terrifying. However, to Lu Wu, being able to re-enter samsara after death was a kind of happiness. Lu Wu's soul dissipated in the white light. Ning Fan suddenly felt inspired. He patted his storage pouch and took out 2 jars of mud-sealed wine. He held one jar for himself and tossed the other one to the sky. Then, he said loudly, "Wouldn't it be a pity if I don't have wine to send you on a long journey?" Lu Wu, whose body was enveloped by the white light, was stunned. Then, he burst into laughter. He opened his mouth and swallowed the wine jar into his stomach. Ning Fan had snatched this wine from an unlucky person. It was some kind of medicinal wine and it was not a good wine. However, Lu Wu did not despise it at all. Looking at Ning Fan, he felt as if he regretted not meeting his bosom friend earlier. Well said. What a good way to send you on a long journey. Everyone is afraid of death and samsara. However, you compared death to a long journey. I can't be compared to your heroic spirit. I will drink this wine. If we are fated to meet again in my next life, I will definitely sit on a high and dangerous building and drink a pot of real good wine with you. All right. If we are fated, I will definitely drink with you in my next life. Ning Fan's understanding of samsara became deeper and deeper. That's right. Just like what he said before, samsara is just a long journey. It was a process of walking from life to death and then from death to life. However, it seemed like there was more to it than that. The white light gradually dimmed. Lu Wu's figure gradually disappeared and his laughter gradually disappeared. He went to be reincarnated. In his next life, he might be a farmer, a mortal martial expert or a scholar. There probably wouldn't be many chances for him to cultivate the Tao. The cloud palace turned dark again. Only Ning Fan was left standing in silence for a long time. He seemed to be recalling his feelings when he erected a grave for the old ancestor of Wei country, sending him to his death. After a long time, he patted his storage pouch and took out a wordless heavenly book. This book was exchanged with the contribution points of the sinister Sparrow sect. There were no words on the book, but there was only the words sending him to his death on the cover. In the past, he did not know who wrote this book. Now, he understood that it was the handwriting of immortal sovereign Zido. Immortal sovereign Zido once sent a friend to his death, sending him to his death. Today, I send him to his death. In the next life, he will send me off. Is this samsara? Ning Fan's comprehension increased. All of a sudden, a faint purple light rose from the wordless heavenly book. The pages of the book moved without any wind. When the breeze blew open the first page of the book, the originally blank white paper slowly revealed 24 arrogant words written in ink. The death of an immortal is like the extinguishing of a lamp. The death of an immortal is like the scattering of his thoughts. This is samsara. Ning Fan's expression changed. It turned out that this wordless heavenly book was not without words. The words on it were just erased by the power of samsara. Chapter 343. These 24 words seemed to have appeared for a brief moment. Then, they slowly disappeared from the white paper, leaving it blank once again. Ning Fan fell into deep thought while reciting the 5-character poem. Death is like the extinguishing of a lamp. One extinguishes and the other reignites. There is the principle of reincarnation in this, but I don't understand it. This poem perhaps contains Zido's comprehension of reincarnation throughout his life. However, with Ning Fan's current cultivation level and experience, he was far from being able to understand it. It was like standing on the shore and looking at the sea. He could vaguely see the sea fog immortal island at the horizon. However, that scenery was too ethereal and illusory. He could not see it clearly at all. He kept the wordless heavenly book and put away all of his emotions. Looking at the empty main hall of the Cloud Palace, Ning Fan gently exhaled, as if he had just completed an important task. Master Lu, I've done what I promised you. He was clearly muttering to himself. However, in the second world, in the Luoyun tribe, an old man who was standing in the Luoyun County Manor silently shed tears while looking at the sky. Yunjiang, why are you crying? The attendants beside him were at a loss of what to do. All of you can leave now. I want to be alone, and have some peace. Just a moment ago, the last trace of bestowment power in Lu Daochen's left eye disappeared. That power was given to him by General Lu. Even though Lu Daochen resisted the Blood Wolf in the Star Palace and destroyed his own bestowment star, he still retained a trace of power after consuming the 6th revolution pill that Ning Fan gave him. However, that power disappeared for no reason just now. Lu Daochen did not feel regretful about losing that power. Instead, he was overjoyed. It was because he had already guessed that the reason why that power suddenly disappeared was because Lu Wu had returned to reincarnation and took back the bestowment power on his own accord. He shed tears because he was overjoyed and sad at the same time. He knew that just now, Ning Fan had fulfilled his promise with him and removed the evil seal that Lu Wu was afflicted with. Lu Bei, thank you for saving General Lu. The night breeze blew. Lu Wu's eyes were filled with tears as he bowed twice to the sky. Firstly, he was grateful for Lu Wu's help in the past. Secondly, he was grateful for Ning Fan's help. In the Cloud Palace, Ning Fan stood there for a long time. In the end, he walked out of the palace. The moment he walked out of the palace seemed to let out a whimpering sound and collapsed with a loud bang. The ladies outside the palace were a little worried. They did not know what had happened to the Cloud Palace that actually made Ning Fan stay inside for 100 days. However, when they saw that Ning Fan was safe and sound, their worries faded away. In fact, after sensing Ning Fan's even more boundless qi, Ran was the first to cry out in surprise. Big brother Lu Bei, your aura is so strong. Did your cultivation level increase again? Did he break through to the late stage of the divine transformation realm? Ran was merely a late divine transformation stage cultivator. The current Ning Fan was not any weaker than Ran in terms of the density of his magic power. She could not help but feel astonished. I haven't broken through to the late divine transformation realm. I'm still at the mid-divine transformation realm. However, my strength has indeed improved a lot. As soon as Ning Fan finished speaking, he became silent for a moment. As if she had sensed something, Ran stopped smiling, Wu Yan lowered her head, Yuan Yao bit her lip lightly, and the atmosphere became silent. I'm going to leave the Star Palace. Ning Fan's tone was calm. However, this simple sentence of farewell made the 3 ladies feel a little bitter. Everyone has their own responsibilities. Ning Fan's responsibility was to become stronger and protect his loved ones. Yuan Yao had to return to the Northern Heaven. Wu Yan and Ran had to return to the Spirit King Palace after all. The trip to the Star Palace was full of dangers. However, it was precisely because they had followed each other through life and death that made it even more unforgettable. Wu Yan tried her best to remain calm, but her shoulders were trembling slightly. She could not forget that day when she was being chased by the old bear. If it wasn't for Ning Fan, she would have already died. She could not forget that in order to help her avoid the punishment of being imprisoned for 10,000 years, Ning Fan captured Imperial Concubine Zi and 10 other demon concubines. He did not care about the Spirit King Palace's investigation at all. Wu Yan couldn't bear to part with him. Ran felt a lump in her throat and her tears fell. She promised Ning Fan that she would be strong and become an independent pill refinement grandmaster. She would never cry again. However, Ran never knew that parting with Ning Fan was such a sad thing. She could not hold back her tears, as if she could not forget the warmth of Ning Fan's embrace. That day, Ning Fan hugged her and bathed the sea of stars in blood. That day, she was sneak attacked by the enemy using the evil cold goo. When she was in despair, only Ning Fan stood in front of her and protected her. She was reluctant to part with him. Yuan Yao closed her phoenix eyes slightly. Her cultivation base was profound. She was in the great oblivion and her expression was calm. However, in the end, her heart could not forget this absurd but warm past. With her cultivation base, she never needed anyone to protect her. However, when her injuries were at their worst and she was at her weakest, it was Ning Fan who shielded her from the wind and rain. This might be the only time in her life that she had to hide behind a man. However, the helplessness of reality made Yuan Yao not even dare to tell Ning Fan her real name. Yuan Yao was also reluctant to part with him. Slap. 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 3 crisp sounds of slapping suddenly resounded in the air. Immediately, she screamed in surprise. Wu Yan's eyes were filled with panic while Yuan Yao's phoenix eyes were filled with shame and anger. The three of them covered their perky buttocks at the same time and turned their heads angrily. They saw Ning Fan waving his hand and revealing a harmless smile. The three sounds were naturally from Ning Fan's devil claws slapping their perky buttocks. It feels pretty good, big brother Liu Bei, why you're shameless. She waved her fists angrily. You stinky little thief. Wu Yan's face blushed. She was probably the only woman who did not have dual cultivation with Ning Fan. That slap was naturally very stimulating. Why you're really... Yuan Yao really did not know what to say to Ning Fan. However, after Ning Fan made such a scene, the sad atmosphere of parting immediately turned into a charming and gentle atmosphere. Little cucumber, you're really something. Yu Lingkong looked at Ning Fan with admiration. For a sex fiend to be able to act so openly and righteously like Ning Fan, it was truly unprecedented and would never be replicated in the future. The female corpse was confused. Her eyes were filled with confusion as she mumbled. Pa. 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 She wanted to ask why Ning Fan slapped their buttocks. The three of them were not disobedient. Ning Fan smiled and shook his head. The atmosphere had eased up. It's about time to leave. Yao Ning Fan said with a teasing tone. Yuan Yao was speechless. She was cursing him in her heart. She thought to herself that this Liu Bei really does things his own way. He thinks that he can take advantage of me after being absurd twice. Yao He's the one who called me Yao It's fine if I just let him call me Yao when we were in a dangerous situation just now. Now that I've regained my strength, he still calls me Yao fine. We're going to part ways soon. Most likely, we won't see each other again. I'll just let him take advantage of me verbally. I promise to give you a trace of the power of the Black Star. I can give it to you now. Ning Fan kept his smile and clenched his 5 fingers. Traces of black starlight flowed out of his palm and condensed into a palm-sized pitch-black crystal that was emitting faint starlight. Is this enough? So much. Yuv successfully comprehended the black star technique of the Celestial Emperor. Yuan Yao's eyes were filled with astonishment. This palm-sized pitch-black crystal contained at least 1,000 traces of black star power. With so much star power at his fingertips, it naturally meant that he had successfully condensed his natal star and gained a preliminary understanding of the black star technique. That secret technique was something that even Yuan Yao would be tempted by. However, Ning Fan had coincidentally comprehended it. You don't want it? Then forget it. Ning Fan deliberately asked. I want. Yuan Yao reached out her hand and took the pitch-black crystal. She did not know that Ning Fan had actually taken advantage of her verbally when she said, I want it. When she took the crystal, Ning Fan seemed to have touched her wrist on purpose. Yuan Yao glanced at Ning Fan speechlessly. She had a feeling that if she stayed with Ning Fan for another half a month, she would really be pushed down by him for the 3rd time and completely fall for him. However, when she thought of obtaining the crystal and being able to kill the red dragon for Bei Xiaoman, as her mother, she was very happy. Thank you. If you ascend to the northern heaven in the future, I will secretly repay you. Yuan Yao said seriously. How? Ning Fan's eyes flashed. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Yuan Yao avoided this topic. She seemed to have thought of something. After hesitating for a while, she still asked. Are you really unwilling to give up on the yin-yang devil vein? I can give you better fiend god cultivation methods. You've asked me many times. Ning Fan shook his head. Is that so? You're a member of the Rain World. If you want to ascend to the upper world, there are only two ways. Firstly, you can cultivate to the peak void fragmentation realm and break through the void to ascend to the northern heaven. Secondly, you can cultivate to the divine transformation realm and obtain the quota given by the four great forces of the upper world to ascend to the upper world. You can choose to ascend to the upper world when you reach the divine transformation realm. Of course, the earlier you ascend to the upper world, the better. However, with the quota, there won't be any danger when you ascend to the upper world. You want to give me the quota? Ning Fan's eyelids twitched. No, not mine. My daughter, no, younger sister. Her name is Bei Xiaoman. She's in a branch palace of the Lost World Palace in the Rain World. I think it's a place called the Endless Sea. When I return to the northern heaven this time, I will try to remind her. When you want to ascend to the upper world in the future, you can tell her that you're Liu Bei. She will help you prepare the passage to the upper world. If that's the case, I will consider it. Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry. Inwardly, he thought to himself. Based on the grudge between me and Bei Xiaoman, that little girl would most likely do something to destroy the passage to the upper world and make me die in the teleportation. Yuan Yao was willing to give the quota, but Ning Fan did not dare to take it. Besides, Ning Fan did not plan to ascend to the upper world after attaining the divine transformation realm. At least, he would not consider such a thing before eliminating Moksha, sovereign of the devil world. Even though we won't meet again, I still sincerely wish you a bright future. Yuan Yao gently broke the seal on her forehead. All of a sudden, her aura force returned to the void-shedding realm. She had to leave in the end. She and Ning Fan were just not fated to be together. It was just the helplessness of, when I was born, you were not born. When you were born, I was already old. Sister Bei Yao, are you leaving? Bei Yao. All the women looked at Yuan Yao. Their gazes swept away her gloomy mood and she smiled. What an interesting memory, my cultivation base is at the void-shedding realm. How could I become sisters with a group of divine transformation realm juniors? Besides, there are also members of a different race among them. If we are fated to meet again, perhaps we will meet again. Yuan Yao sighed inwardly. She had already forgotten about her feelings, but she still had feelings for him. She changed her hand seals and a vast amount of magic power surged. A gigantic world gate appeared out of thin air. Yuan Yao gritted her teeth and stepped into it, leaving the place. Unexpectedly, her feelings during the journey had loosened the bottleneck in her cultivation base. The Taisheng Wang Qing was not emotionless. She had been emotionless all the way, but she fell in love with him in the Star Palace. Perhaps her strength would increase a lot. This was a story for later. Wu Yan and Yu Lingkong sighed. She ran, on the other hand, felt a lump in her throat again. Sister Bei Yao has left, silly girl. When there is a gathering, there will be a parting. I can only blame myself for being in the wind. It's not up to me to gather and part. Wu Yan did not know what to say till she ran. She gently raised her head and looked at Ning Fan. For a moment, she was speechless. After a long time, she finally mustered up her courage and said indifferently. Liu Bei, we have to return to the second world first to hand over some things to Liu Daochen. After that, we will return to the Spirit King Palace. After that, the Spirit King will probably give the order to move the entire second world to the land of demon spirit in the upper world using a secret technique. After all, there is nothing wrong with the ancient demon race that is in hibernation in the second world to ascend again. Is that so? Then I will have to trouble you to take care of Wan Er and Luo Yun in the future. Aren't you going to return to the second world with us? Sister Wan Er might want to see you too. Shi Ran really could call anyone her sister. She was born to be someone's younger sister. No. Even if I go back, I will leave immediately. I just want Wan Er to feel the sadness of parting again. Perhaps there will be a day when there is no longer a sea of blood in front of me and my enemies are chasing after me. At that time, I will be able to let go of everything and look for you guys. Then, I will live a peaceful but warm life as a mortal. What Wan Er is looking forward to seeing is the me who has let go of everything. She is waiting. I am also waiting. There will be such a day. Ning Fan's eyes revealed a hint of longing. Mortals usually yearn for a hot-blooded and legendary life when they live a peaceful life. Cultivators fight against the heavens, against people and against fate. When they reach the end of their cultivation, they would usually be exhausted and yearn for a peaceful life. However, even though their hearts could be exhausted, their footsteps could not stop. If they stop, they would be trampled on by other cultivators as if they were walking on the road. This was a path that could not be turned back. Yen Er, Ran Er, I don't have anything good to give you. Here are 2 pieces of sword crystals. Hold on to them and activate a Void Refinement Realm attack. Even a peak Divine Transformation Realm cultivator would die. As for half-step Void Refinement Realm cultivators, they would also need to run away. Ning Fan took out the 2 pieces of sword crystals. Of course, they were taken from Zichuan. Isn't this too valuable? Even with Wu Yan's status as a demon concubine, it was impossible for her to get such a sword crystal. Her innate talent was not bad, but she was not valued in the family. Is this a gift? Shi Ran's eyes flickered and a smile bloomed on her face. She was the little princess of the family. Naturally, she did not lack any defensive items. However, she still treated this sword crystal as a precious treasure because it was given to her by Ning Fan. This gift is almost equivalent to 50 million immortal jade. Big brother Liu Bei, you still owe me 900 million immortal jade. The next time I see you, I will definitely ask you for it. Oh right. She still could not forget the 1 billion immortal jade that Ning Fan had taken away from her. However, she suddenly thought of something. Shi Ran, who was always a talkative person, actually felt a little uneasy. Sister Wu Yan, I will secretly give something to big brother Liu Bei. Can you just pretend that you didn't see it and don't tell anyone? Shi Ran pleaded to Wu Yan. Alright. But what is it that you want to give to Liu Bei? Why are you being so mysterious? Shi Ran's uneasy expression made Ning Fan feel a little amused. It's a jade slip. A jade slip. Shi Ran took out an exquisitely wrapped jade slip from her storage pouch and passed it to Ning Fan. Her face immediately blushed. This is... Ning Fan tore open the packaging in an extremely rough manner and tapped the jade slip. Immediately, a soft and delicate voice sounded from the jade slip. Big brother Liu Bei, Shi Ran likes you very much. I like you very much. You are Shi Ran's great hero. This is the jade slip that Shi Ran secretly imprinted. It records the secret pill concoction technique of our profound medicine clan, the remnant scroll of the 3 pure ones. You must learn it well. When you become a great pill concoction master in the future, father will certainly not object to our marriage. Pa Shi Ran's little face was filled with anger and embarrassment. She tapped the jade slip with her finger and turned off the voice of the jade slip. Then, she looked at Ning Fan angrily. Idiot! This is not something that can be opened in front of others. Shi Ran really wanted to find a hole and hide in it. This was the jade slip that she secretly made along the way. It secretly imprinted all the secret pill concoction techniques of the profound medicine clan. Of course, it would be fine if that was all. However, there were also a lot of mushy words of love that Shi Ran had always wanted to say to Ning Fan but did not dare to. Idiot! Big idiot! Shi Ran stomped her feet in embarrassment. On the other side, when Yu Lingkong heard the mushy words in Shi Ran's jade slip, she laughed so hard that her little body and waist were bent. She deliberately imitated Shi Ran's tone and said pretentiously, "Big brother Liu Bei, Shi Ran likes you very much. I like you very much. You are Shi Ran's great hero. You are not allowed to learn it." While the two girls were arguing, Wu Yan's eyes were filled with surprise. The same expression also appeared in Ning Fan's eyes. This is the secret pill concoction technique of the Profound Medicine Clan. You gave this technique to Liu Bei. If this matter spreads out, with how overbearing your Profound Medicine Clan is, they will certainly send out many true immortals to hunt down Liu Bei. You are harming him, Wu Yan said nervously. If you don't say it, I won't say it. Big brother Liu Bei won't say it, big sister Yu Er won't say it, and Wei Liang definitely won't say it either. Who will know? Shi Ran disagreed. She did not think that what she did was inappropriate at all. You are really... What should I say about you? Wu Yan sighed softly. She could understand Shi Ran's feelings. If she had the status of a princess in the clan and could obtain some profound secret techniques of the clan which could help Ning Fan, she would also be willing to take the risk and give it to Ning Fan. Big brother Liu Bei, if you don't want it, give it back to me. Shi Ran reached out her hand and tried to take it back, but Ning Fan hugged her tightly. I want it. Why don't I want it? It's a good thing. It was indeed a good thing. The Tao of Formation was divided into 9 factions. However, there were only 2 factions in the Tao of Pills. The 9 Revolutions pill refinement technique that Great Emperor Ancient Chaos had passed down was incomplete. Even though the 3 Purities pill condensation technique that Shi Ran gave him was also incomplete, it was much more profound than Ning Fan's current pill concoction technique. With these and Ning Fan's innate talent, he would certainly be able to achieve great things in the Tao of Pills as long as he puts in some hard work and studies them carefully. With the help of a virtuous wife, one can defeat 1,000,000 mighty soldiers. Ning Fan finally experienced this saying in the mortal world. Of course, in order to win the hearts of his virtuous wives, he would have to face a life and death crisis. The process was very difficult, but the result was satisfactory. That was enough. Then, big brother Liu Bei, sister Wu Yan and I will be leaving now. You are not allowed to not miss me. After you return, be careful in everything you do. Ning Fan reminded them. Wu Yan and Shi Ran looked at Ning Fan deeply. After a long time, they each took out their formation discs and activated the formation light. An instant later, their figures gradually faded. They had returned to the second world. Liu Bei. Goodbye. Looking at the sky where the 2 women left, Ning Fan raised his head and sighed emotionally. Go, back, home. The female corpse gently pulled Ning Fan's sleeve. She could see that Ning Fan was a little emotional. Go home. After leaving the external endless sea for more than 20 years, Su Qiuling's injuries might have already flared up. Let's go and treat this woman first. Little cucumber, you have so many beauties. Don't you feel tired? Yu Lingkong criticized him in her mind. No matter how tired I am, it's still better than being alone. Ning Fan's words made Yu Lingkong fall into silence. Ning Fan's path was bumpy, but he was not lonely. As for Yu Lingkong, even though she was the female tyrant of the internal sea in the past, she never had a close friend. In the end, she even suffered a backlash from her second primordial spirit and was betrayed by her disciples. When are we going to the Divine Space Island? Yu Lingkong recalled some unhappy memories and asked with a frown. We will go. Ning Fan took out a formation disc. It was not to return to the second world but to the external endless sea. The star palace of the second world in the secret realm of the broken world. Before he entered the broken world, he was a nascent soul realm cultivator. When he returned to the external endless sea, he was a divine transformation realm cultivator who was almost standing at the peak of the divine transformation realm. The journey was filled with hardships and losses. The golden flame chariot was half destroyed and the two mid-divine transformation realm spiritual puppets were either injured or killed. However, what he gained was much more. Formation techniques, pill refinement techniques, the inlaid star plate, the black star technique, the Fuli ancestral blood, the initial form of the Emperor's shadow, two void refinement realm spiritual puppets, an immortal painting magic treasure. There were gains and losses. Ning Fan did not suffer any losses. Let's go. Ning Fan activated the formation disc and the three of them slowly disappeared from the Cloud Palace. The moment they left, the Cloud Palace disappeared along with the sea of stars. No one knew where they went. 20 years had passed. The external endless sea was still filled with dangers and opportunities. Every year, many cultivators would come from afar. Some of them were here to train in the endless sea while some were here to cultivate in the Lost World Palace. During these 20 years, many forces in the external endless sea were destroyed and many more forces were established. Among them, the largest assassin organization was established on the Ying Province Immortal Island. It was called the Alliance of Bright Assassins. 20 years later, the secret realm of the Broken World was destroyed. The entrance to the Broken World in the Pleasure Devil Sea had already collapsed. Only the first position on the killing steel of Ning Fan's name was engraved with a ferocious name with terrifying baleful chi. Zhou Ming. Originally, one could only enter the secret realm of the Broken World for 6 months. However, Ning Fan had been there for 20 years. Most of the experts of the Endless Sea who were waiting outside had lost interest in waiting and had already left. No one would wait here for 20 years just to see Ning Fan's return. Only a woman named Su Qiling waited here every day. However, during the past 3 years, her injuries began to act up and her physical strength was exhausted. Thus, she could no longer wait for Ning Fan under the sea. This place was already empty. Even the formation that isolated the sea had lost its spirituality. Those who occasionally passed by this place were only cultivators who were searching for treasures in the illusory Devil Sea. In the deep sea, 2 cultivators, one old and one young, were mining for spiritual ores. The Pleasure Devil Sea was rich in spiritual ores. The deeper the sea, the more precious the ores were. Ores were good things. They could be used to forge magic treasures and weapons, forge spiritual iron and set up formations to make puppets. A piece of precious spiritual ore was equivalent to all the expenses of a gold core realm old monster's 100 years of cultivation. The two of them were searching for spiritual ores in the deep sea. The old man wore a red robe and had a terrifying late gold core realm cultivation base. He seemed to be a rogue cultivator. As for the young one, he was a young man with rosy lips and white teeth. His aptitude seemed to be quite good. He seemed to have just broken through to the harmonious spirit realm. His cultivation base had not stabilized yet. The two of them were a pair of master and disciple. Perhaps, the reason why the old man brought the young man into the sea was not only to search for ores but also to let the young man gain experience in the sea of blood and stabilize his cultivation base. Master, my cultivation base is still weak. I'm just a harmonious spirit realm cultivator. Isn't it a little too early for me to gain experience in the sea? The young man was a little afraid. His words immediately aroused the dissatisfaction of the old man. Humph. How can you go far on the path of cultivation if you are so timid? So what if you are a harmonious spirit realm cultivator? Did you know that 20 years ago, there was a shocking figure in the Endless Sea? He went to the external Endless Sea with a harmonious spirit realm cultivation base and fought against thousands of mermen alone. He survived the pursuit of the demon sealing sect and entered seclusion in the Lost World Palace of Penglai. 10 years later, he broke through to the nascent soul realm and killed the demon sealing sect's eagle crane elder. After that, he stirred up a storm in the external Endless Sea with his nascent soul realm cultivation base. He even dared to face a divine transformation realm old ancestor head-on. This person killed the geniuses of the 10 sects and 3 islands as if it was child's play, but the old ancestors of the 10 sects did not dare to be angry with him. This person has been in the secret realm of the broken world for 20 years, but his name is getting redder and redder. It's obvious that not only did he not die, he even went somewhere and created a monstrous killing intent. Even though this person has been gone for 20 years, the older generation experts in the external endless sea are still terrified when they hear his name. He climbed to the peak from the harmonious spirit realm step by step. The old man's reprimand made the young man blush, but he still talked back in a low voice. Master must be making things up. This disciple doesn't believe that there is a harmonious spirit realm cultivator who can move unhindered in the external endless sea. Who is this person? Can Master say his name? His name? He is that Imo Shao whom you admire the most. His name is so famous that countless forces in the external endless sea secretly formed the Alliance of Light Assassins. He is Zhou Ming. What? Master said, venerated old ancestor Ming. Venerated old ancestor Ming swept across the external endless sea when he was just a harmonious spirit realm cultivator. The young man didn't believe that there was a harmonious spirit realm cultivator who could move unhindered in the external endless sea, but when he heard the name, Zhou Ming, he believed it completely. His eyes were filled with passion and admiration. The person he admired the most was Zhou Ming. However, how did Master know that venerated Ming was only a harmonious spirit realm cultivator when he escaped from the demon sealing sect? Rumor has it that venerated Ming was only a nascent soul realm cultivator when he entered the external endless sea. The young man was puzzled. How could I not know? That day, venerated Ming and I entered the external endless sea on the same heaven-evading ship. At that time, the heaven-evading ship that I was on received the distress signal from the other ships. At that moment, venerated Ming was standing beside me. Due to the confusion in his heart, he revealed a trace of his cultivation base. There's no mistake about it. I was the only one who felt it. Other than me, no one else knew that venerated Ming could fight against a nascent soul realm cultivator at the harmonious spirit realm. Cough. Cough. It's all in the past. Let's not talk about it anymore. When the old man recalled the past, he couldn't help but feel ashamed. At that time, he and Ning Fan were on the same ship when they entered the external endless sea. He was an intermediate gold core realm cultivator while Ning Fan was a harmonious spirit realm cultivator. Dozens of years later, the old man finally advanced to the late gold core realm. On the other hand, Ning Fan was already a nascent soul realm old ancestor. He was an expert that even spirit-severing realm old monsters were afraid of. He was the person whom the Alliance of Light Assassins wanted to kill the most. Compared to Ning Fan, the old man felt that he had wasted his entire life's worth of cultivation. Master! Master! The young man suddenly stopped and interrupted the old man's thoughts. He pointed at a direction with a joyful look on his face. What's the matter? Can't you see that I'm reminiscing about the past? The old man was displeased. However, when he looked at the direction where the young man was pointing at, he was immediately surprised. Then, his face was filled with joy. Beside the reef at the bottom of the sea in front of them, there was a piece of dark red fire crystal Oregon. It was at least the size of a palm. It's a fire crystal ore. And it's so big. Master, this fire crystal ore can be sold for at least 100,000 immortal jades. The young man said excitedly. 100,000 immortal jades was a huge fortune to him and the old man. He immediately leaped to the bottom of the sea and wanted to dig out the ore. However, he was stopped by the old man. Wait a minute. Something is not right. The location of this fire crystal ore isn't hidden at all. It's so obvious, but it has never been taken away by anyone. Instead, it's my turn to take it away. This doesn't make sense. I'm afraid there's some kind of danger hidden in this place. The old man squinted his eyes. His many years of life and death experience told him that there was something hidden in this place. When his eyes swept across a huge reef, he was shocked as if he had seen something unbelievable. He immediately pulled his disciple and retreated with all his might. Run quickly. This is not a reef. This is a reef beast. Just as the old man was retreating, all the reefs in the sea within 6,000 zhang radius began to shake. The entire ground suddenly rose up. Under the sea of sand, there was actually a 6,000 zhang huge ferocious beast hibernating. All the reefs and the fire crystal ore were growing on its back. Roar! The ferocious beast let out a roar and emitted the aura of a mid-nascent soul realm expert. Under this aura, the old man was terrified. He felt a sharp pain in his chest. The young man was almost scared to death. A nascent soul realm ferocious beast. Moreover, it's a mid-nascent soul realm expert. We're finished. We're going to die. At the moment when the old man and the young man were in despair, starlight suddenly appeared in the deep sea and formed a 10,000 zhang vortex. In that vortex, thunderous sounds could be heard from time to time. A young man in a white robe and a black cloak walked out of the vortex. Without any warning, a violent tsunami immediately appeared in the sea within 100,000 li radius. Countless dormant ferocious beasts prostrated themselves on the ground at the same time and trembled. As for the previously arrogant reef beast, when it saw the young man, its eyes widened and its body trembled. Terrifying, too terrifying, this ferocious beast felt an undefeatable danger from the young man. Roar! The reef beast let out a roar that sounded like it was submitting to the young man. Then, it fled without any regard for its life. The old man was stunned. The young man was even more so. Where did this young man who appeared out of nowhere come from? What is his cultivation base? With just a trace of his aura, he was able to make a mid-nascent soul realm sea beast flee for its life. Greetings, senior. The old man did not dare to be negligent. He immediately clasped his fist and bowed. No matter who this young man was, he was definitely not someone that the old man could afford to offend. Furthermore, the old man did not even dare to look at the young man's face for fear that he would commit some taboo. In his life, he had never seen such a powerful expert. Chapter 344. Greetings, senior. The old man had slaughtered his entire life and was used to seeing life and death, but in front of the young man before him, his words were actually trembling and he was terrified. Just a wisp of this young man's aura made the old man feel like he was suffocating. That aura contained more than 10 million gold core blood seas. The heavy murderous aura caused the gold core in the old man's dantian region to shatter. He could not imagine that such an expert actually existed in this world. Although the old man could not see the young man's face clearly, he vaguely felt that the aura was somewhat familiar, as if he had seen it somewhere before. The trace of doubt in the old man's eyes did not escape the young man's detection. He took a step forward and dispersed his aura. His gaze swept past the old man and the young man. Immediately, the old man felt like he had been completely seen through. You recognize me? The young man was slightly surprised. He noticed a slight fluctuation in the old man's eyes. This young man was none other than Ning Fan. When he was in the Luoyun tribe, he changed his name to Liu Bei. After returning to the tribe, he continued to use the name Zhou Ming. No, I don't dare. How could I be acquainted with Senior Zhou? From Ning Fan's voice, the old man was even more certain that the person in front of him was Zhou Ming, who had traveled together with him on the heaven-evading ship. In a moment of panic, he accidentally called out, Senior Zhou. In an instant, the old man's expression changed drastically. He wanted to slap himself a few times. How stupid. This person was definitely the invincible fiendish devil Zhou Ming. He had disappeared for 20 years and had suddenly reappeared. He definitely didn't want anyone to know. If he accidentally let his tongue slip and recognized Zhou Ming's identity, Zhou Ming might just kill him to silence him. Are you an old friend? I also feel that your aura is somewhat familiar. I remember now. I met you on the heaven-evading boat. Ning Fan muttered to himself. He seemed to have recalled that there was indeed such an old man on the heaven-evading ship in the past. Although he was infamous, he was not a person who would kill indiscriminately, and it was even more impossible for him to silence others just because they recognized him. Although he didn't have the intention to kill, his infamous reputation from 20 years ago still lingered in the outer endless sea. Of course, the elderly man was afraid of Ning Fan. I'm ashamed. Junior Sun Bai indeed had the fortune to meet Senior on the heaven-evading ship that year. The elderly man felt slightly relieved. Based on his impression of Ning Fan would never waste his breath on killing people. Since Ning Fan had asked him a question, the elderly man would certainly not die. Sun Bai, I have something to ask you. If you can satisfy me, I will naturally reward you. Ning Fan's tone was extremely indifferent. However, the elderly man immediately became terrified. If revered Ming has any questions, please feel free to ask. I will definitely tell you everything I know. How would I dare to ask for a reward? What a joke. I'm already lucky to be able to stay alive from Ning Fan's hands. Why do I still need a reward? Sun Bai didn't even dare to think about it. I wonder what venerated Ming wants to ask. Sun Bai was a little uneasy. He was afraid that his answer would displease Ning Fan. Do you know when I will enter the Broken World's secret domain? Junior understands. How long has it been since I left? What happened in the Endless Sea? Replying to predecessor, it has been 21 years and 9 months since you left the Endless Sea. As for the big events in the Endless Sea, I haven't cultivated in seclusion for years, so I know more or less. It's just that there are too many things that I know. If I were to say them one by one, it would inevitably delay Senior's time. Please allow this Junior to imprint the memory in the jade slip for Senior's reference. Of course, if Senior insists on letting this Junior narrate, this Junior is also very willing. There's no need for that. It's better to imprint the memory in the jade slip. It has been 21 years, I suppose a lot of big events must have happened. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with worry. There were two forces in the Endless Sea that he was most concerned about. One of them was the Pleasure Devil Island where Su Qiuling was, and the other was the Green Jade Immortal Island that Yin Suqiu joined. There seems to be another one. Ning Fan was also a little concerned about Bei Xiaoman's safety. Yes. Since Senior has given the order, this Junior will immediately imprint the memory in the jade slip. Sun Bai did not dare to be negligent. He immediately patted his storage pouch and took out a jade slip. He carefully recalled the memories of the past 20 years and imprinted them into the jade slip one by one. The memory of a cultivator was already far beyond that of a mortal. They could almost never forget anything they saw. Besides, Ning Fan only asked about the big events. Thus, imprinting these memories was just a trivial matter to Sun Bai. In just the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, he had imprinted all the trivial matters. Then, Ning Fan flicked his sleeve and the jade slip in Sun Bai's hand disappeared into thin air. In an instant, it appeared in Ning Fan's hand. Sun Bai had never seen such a technique in his life. He was extremely shocked. This was not the technique of a nascent soul realm cultivator at all. It seemed like he had borrowed the power of teleportation. Venerated Ming has broken through to the divine transformation realm. But 20 years ago, he had just formed his nascent soul. How did he achieve the divine transformation realm after 20 years? Ning Fan did not know that Sun Bai was shocked. He scanned the jade slip with his spirit sense and found out that it contained the things he wanted to know. He nodded his head in satisfaction. Then, he patted his storage pouch and took out a bottle of pills. He tossed it to Sun Bai as a reward. Then, he took a step forward. With a flash of purple smoke, he disappeared without a trace. What a fast speed! This is Venerated Ming. I actually saw Venerated Ming himself. After Ning Fan left, the young man at the side finally regained his breath from the heavy pressure. His eyes were filled with excitement. As for Sun Bai, he was astonished once again. Teleportation. It really is teleportation. He has returned. He has achieved the divine transformation realm. 20 years. He used 20 years to achieve the divine transformation realm. The astonishment in his heart had reached its peak. However, when Sun Bai lowered his head, his expression changed greatly again. This is a nascent transformation pill. The pill that venerated Ming gave me is actually a fourth transformation nascent transformation pill. Sun Bai's eyes were filled with excitement. He immediately kept the pill bottle like it was a treasure and cupped his fists in the direction where Ning Fan had left. Thank you for your generous gift, venerated Ming. Today, the two of them were searching for ores in the deep sea. First, they were ambushed by the reef beasts. Then, they saw Ning Fan's return. Even though it was more daunting than dangerous, they no longer had the mood to search for ores. The two of them sighed with emotion. Then, they immediately turned into rays of traveling light and left the sea region. As for announcing their encounter with Ning Fan, they did not dare to do so at all. An old friend, 10,000 li away, Ning Fan was standing in the deep sea. The seawater was separated in a strange way. No sea beast dared to come close to him. Ning Fan did not have much of an impression of Sun Bai at all. However, the word old friend touched his heart. As for the nascent transformation pill that he gave to Sun Bai, it was just one of the countless pills that he had obtained from killing others along the way. It was not worth mentioning at all. A single nascent transformation pill was enough to cause a bloodbath in Yu country in the past. To the current Ning Fan, a single nascent transformation pill was just an item of little value. Perhaps the next time I see Bei Yao and the other girls, they will just be my old friends. Holding the crystal-clear Gu King token in his hand, Ning Fan recalled the scenes that happened in the Star Palace. The Gu King token had been kept and the beauties had gone far away. Ning Fan then returned to the external endless sea. He no longer disguised himself as Liu Bei. Instead, he removed his disguise and turned back into Zhou Ming. The female corpse and Yu Lingkong also temporarily went back into the cauldron ring to rest. The two of them had exhausted a lot of their strength while fleeing from the pursuit of the realm beast. They had also sustained some injuries. It was time for them to rest and recuperate. Endless Sea, Ning Fan, am back. Ning Fan's eyes flashed. He pressed the jade slip that Sun Bai gave him to his glabella and closed his eyes to carefully browse through the changes that had taken place in the past 20 years. The memories played in front of his eyes. After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, Ning Fan opened his eyes. His eyes were filled with coldness and he continued browsing. Alliance of Ming Assassins. The divine transformation realm old ancestor of the Yingzhou immortal island secretly colluded with the divine transformation realm experts in the internal sea to establish an assassin organization. Just to assassinate me, huh? Ning Fan's eyes were filled with disdain. This mere alliance of Ming assassins was not worthy of his attention at all. Divine transformation realm old ancestor, huh? Ning Fan had lost count of how many early divine transformation realm experts he had eaten in the external endless sea. Compared to dealing with the alliance of Ming assassins, Ning Fan was more concerned about the Pleasure Devil Immortal Island. It was not because of that Mother Earth's heart but because of Su Qiuling's injuries. When he entered the secret realm of the broken world that day, he deduced that Su Qiuling had 30 years to live. Now that 20 years had passed, Su Qiuling's injuries had already begun to act up. In another 10 years, she would certainly die. Fortunately, Ning Fan had already returned. Moreover, he had the Black Star healing technique that could heal living people. Basically, there was no injury that Ning Fan could not heal for cultivators below the Void Refinement realm. With him around, not only would Su Qiuling not die, but her cultivation base would also improve tremendously with the help of her injuries. Before entering the broken world, Ning Fan could only heal Su Qiuling's injuries. Now, he could even help her cultivation base improve rapidly. When he browsed through the jade slip again, there were only two things that made Ning Fan's expression change. One of them was the information about the lost world palace of the Penglai Immortal Island. The Tower Lord of the Southern Tower, Bei Xiaoman, had almost succeeded in her seclusion to attain the divine transformation realm. The other information was about the Green Jade Immortal Island. 3 years ago, the mid-divine transformation realm old ancestor who had been hiding in the Green Jade Immortal Island all this while had returned to the void. Returning to the void was when a cultivator died at the end of their lifespan. Ning Fan once speculated that the reason why no devil cultivators from the external endless sea dared to lay their hands on the female cultivators of the Green Jade Immortal Island must be because this sect had a great hidden strength. The information confirmed Ning Fan's speculation. The Green Jade Immortal Island had always been guarded by 2 divine transformation realm experts. One of them was in the dark while the other was in the light. The one in the light was an old lady whom Ning Fan had met half a time ago. The one in the dark was a senior divine transformation realm expert. As soon as this senior divine transformation realm expert died, the Green Jade Immortal Island did not have any new divine transformation realm experts to replace her. It was already a little insufficient to guard the Green Jade Immortal Island with just one divine transformation realm expert. The female cultivators of the sect were all great human cauldrons. Countless devil cultivators were staring at the Green Jade Immortal sect with saliva dripping from their mouths. There were even a few devil cultivators who had abducted more than 10 female cultivators of the sect. In the past 3 years, the alliance of Ming assassins had also begun to suppress the Green Jade Immortal sect. The reason was because there was a rumor that the vice-sect lord of the sect, Yin Suqiu, was Zhou Ming's woman. Yin Suqiu had successfully formed her nascent soul and even obtained the inheritance of the ruins of En's old ancestor from the Baiyao sect. Her cultivation base was almost at the peak of the nascent soul realm and she was only half a step away from the spirit transformation realm. The rise of Yin Suqiu's status in the Baiyao sect naturally aroused the jealousy of a certain female cultivator. Thus, her relationship with Ning Fan was exposed. Once this was exposed, it would be disastrous. The alliance of Ming assassins had already decided to kill Yin Suqiu. Fortunately, Yin Suqiu had never left the sect and had been cultivating in seclusion. Hence, no one had the chance to attack her. The coldness in Ning Fan's eyes intensified. Putting aside Yin Suqiu, the actions of the Ming assassin alliance had angered Ning Fan. Suqiu is currently in seclusion. She's fine for the time being. Humph. I'll save Qiling first. After that, I must personally see what gives the alliance of Ming assassins the right to covet my woman. Ning Fan shook his body. In just a flash of purple smoke, he had already completely vanished from sight and drifted towards the Pleasure Devil Immortal Island. It seemed like he had to do some things as soon as he returned. If the outer seas were not stained with blood, some people would not learn to be obedient. On the black tortoise star in the northern heaven void world, a cold lady who was standing on a purple crystal sword was flying towards the sea of clouds. The void world was the medium-sized world where the tablet master immortal emperor lived. The lady who was standing on the sword was wearing a small robe. Her soft shoes gave off a fragrant scent. Her body was surrounded by colorful sword qi. She was none other than the beloved disciple of the tablet master immortal emperor, Bailey. Bailey had just come out from her seclusion and she hurried to the Sea of Clouds to help someone attain the spirit-severing realm. With her identity, she would not personally help someone to attain the spirit-severing realm unless she met an expert who could pry into their luck. Previously, she went to the Sea of Clouds to help Ning Fan. This time, it was to help her younger sister. Her fourth sister, Bei Xiaoman, was about to succeed in her mortal severing today. She would leave her name on the Dao steel and become a spirit-severing realm cultivator. Xiaoman has finally attained the spirit-severing realm. If that's the case, she should return to the northern heaven soon, Bailey muttered to herself as if she was worried about something. 1 hour later, they arrived at the bottom of the 3 Dao steels in the Sea of Clouds. Below the Dao steels, I Ching was sitting on pins and needles. He was sighing while confronting a lady in red robes. The lady in red robes held a red whip in her hand. Her small face was delicate and pretty but her eyes were cold. She stopped I Ching and insisted on sparring with him. She was the 4th mistress of the Lost World Palace, Bei Xiaoman. Bei Xiaoman saw that I Ching had some skills and wanted to spar with him. However, how would I Ching dare to fight her? She was the fourth mistress of the Lost World Palace. If she gets hurt, it would be troublesome. As soon as he saw Bei Li, I Ching hurriedly retreated as if he had just been pardoned. Bei Li sighed softly and frowned when she saw him. Then, she said indifferently. Xiaoman, you're messing around again. You have just attained the spirit-severing realm and your cultivation base has yet to stabilize. How can you spar with someone? Junior brother I Ching did not fight with you because he was afraid that you would get hurt. Humph. All of you are looking down on me. If it wasn't because of my physique and my young age, I wouldn't have just attained the spirit-severing realm. Besides, I can't blame I Ching for being too arrogant when I quarreled with him. In the 3 stages of the mortal severing realm, every time I passed a stage, he would nag at me once. He would talk about how amazing a person called Ning Fan was in the past and what kind of results he achieved in passing the stages. How annoying. Silly girl. That young Master Ning is really amazing. Junior brother I Ching admires young Master Ning from the bottom of his heart. He didn't mean to provoke you. Bei Li's eyes were filled with reminiscence as if she was recalling a young man. Young Master Ning. Sister Li feels a little strange. Didn't you always look down on men? Why are you so polite to that Ning Fan and even addressed him as young Master Ning? Bei Xiaoman placed her hands behind her back. Her red feet were gently tapping on the ground as she looked at Bei Li with great interest. Her eyes were filled with smiles. Sister, could it be that you've fallen in love with that young Master Ning? That won't do. No matter how strong he is just a person from the lower world. Pooh. Xiaoman, you didn't learn anything good in the lower world. You're getting bolder and bolder. I've only met young Master Ning once. How could I fall in love with him? Bei Li's face turned red and rolled her eyes at Bei Xiaoman. Of course, I know that Sister Li is a proud and arrogant person. It's impossible for you to fall in love with a cultivator from the lower world. Why are you so agitated? Besides, I know someone from the lower world. In terms of talent, he is not inferior to your young Master Ning. What do you mean by my young Master Ning? Who is the person you know? What's his cultivation base? Bei Li's interest was piqued. His name is Zhou Ming. He's a stinky brat who bullies me every day. However, he is really talented and powerful. He has gone missing for 20 years. I have no idea where he has gone to. Humph. He must have gone to fool around with that wild woman. I'm so angry. Bei Xiaoman's face was filled with anger. However, even if Zhou Ming had gone to fool around with that woman, what was there to be angry about? Didn't she dislike Zhou Ming? Silly sister. Bei Li seemed to have seen through Xiaoman's thoughts. She thought to herself, I'm afraid that my sister has taken a fancy to a cultivator from the lower domain. Is that person called Zhou Ming? What's Zhou Ming's bone age like? Does he have any special talents? With your standards, you shouldn't be interested in outstanding talents below the soul formation realm. And, he is very powerful, definitely more powerful than your young Master Ning. His bone age is less than 400 years old, but his cultivation base is already at the late nascent soul realm. 20 years ago, when he went missing, he was at this cultivation base. Bei Xiaoman was a little disappointed. Bei Li shook her head and said, a nascent soul late stage at 400 years old? That's not bad. However, compared to young Master Ning, who reached the soul formation stage at 300 years old, he's still a little lacking. Who said that? Although that Zhou Ming is a late nascent soul realm cultivator, he has even killed a divine transformation realm cultivator before. Moreover, he is a 5th revolution pill refinement master. As soon as he finished speaking, Bei Xiaoman immediately became complacent. It was as if the 400 years old 5th revolution pill master was not Zhou Ming, but her. A 5th revolution pill master. In that case, this young Master Zhou is indeed very talented. Is he a genius of the Tao of alchemy? Bailey pondered. You are not allowed to call him young Master Zhou. You don't even know him. You go and look for your Ning fan. Zhou Ming is mine. Bei Xiaoman was like a little kid, causing Bei Li to feel pity and a headache at the same time. It would be good if this sister of mine is more mature. He had only casually mentioned young Master Zhou, and this silly sister of his was already starting to get jealous. Has this silly sister fallen in love with that Zhou Ming? If that's the case, it will be troublesome. Xiaoman, you should know that you have an engagement with the Shiman clan. Speaking of which, where is your Yuanyao jade? Don't tell me you gave it to Zhou Ming. Bei Li's beautiful eyes turned serious. This was a serious problem. The Yuanyao jade is with the stone warrior for safekeeping. As for the Shiman clan, I won't marry them. Bei Xiaoman lied. Both the Yuanyao jade and the stone warrior were lost. Silly sister, even if you don't marry into the Shiman clan, it's still impossible for you to be with that Zhou Ming. Bailey wanted to persuade her again. Suddenly, a tyrannical void-shedding realm aura descended from the sea of clouds along with purple rays of light. Immediately, both of them revealed a surprised expression. Mother! Why are you here? Naturally, I'm here to give you an item to help you slay the scarlet dragon. Within the rays of light, Yuanyao took a step forward. She was like a fairy that had descended from the heavens and stood aloof from the world. There seemed to be some injuries on her body. However, before her two daughters could ask anything, Yuanyao flicked her sleeve and took out a black crystal, handing it to Bei Xiaoman. Man-heir, after you return to the rain world, refine this crystal and you will definitely be able to slay the scarlet dragon. Then, you will no longer have to worry about the Gui vein bloodthirst. You don't need to suppress the killing intent of the Gui vein by killing people anymore. Thank you, mother. Bei Xiaoman hugged Yuanyao, feeling incomparably happy. She wanted to slay the scarlet dragon even in her dreams. Month after month, this was indeed a difficult task. By the way, what were you guys talking about just now? Yuanyao asked casually. We were talking about which genius is more outstanding. I like Zhou Ming but big sister likes Ning Fan. Bei Xiaoman stuck out her tongue and acted coquettishly to Yuanyao. What do you mean I like Ning Fan? Bailey did not like to talk much. She did not have the strength to defend herself. The conversation between the two of them, however, made Yuanyao sink into contemplation. Genius, huh? I'm afraid Ning Fan and Zhou Ming can't be compared to that person. Who can't be compared to? Bei Xiaoman was in the lower world while Bailey had just come out from her seclusion not long ago. Both of them did not know about a huge rumor in the northern heaven. Currently, almost all the geniuses in the northern heaven have been subdued by a young man. That person was born in the lower world but he defeated Zichuan and killed Lin Su with just his divine transformation realm cultivation base. He fought against the realm beast alone and bathed the sea of stars in blood. His name is Liu Bei. I'm afraid he's the most outstanding person among the geniuses of this generation. Yuanyao recalled the past but she tried her best to hide her facial expression, pretending that she did not know Liu Bei. Strange? With mother's status, how could she praise a divine transformation realm cultivator from the lower world? Bei Xiaoman and Bailey found it hard to believe. However, the three of them did not know that the strongest genius that they were arguing about was actually the same person. That person had already quietly returned to the endless sea and was preparing to stir up a storm again. Chapter 345. It was impossible for her two daughters to see through Yuanyao's thoughts. As soon as she returned to the northern heaven, she immediately rushed to the cloud sea to give Bei Xiaoman the Star Force crystal. Other than that, she still had other matters to attend to. Many geniuses of the northern heaven had died in his hands. Yuanyao had to help him settle some small troubles. Xiaoman, I have something to tell you. You must remember it well. When you return to the rain world this time, if Liu Bei looks for you and asks to ascend to the northern heaven world, you must do your best to help him. All right. Bei Xiaoman nodded. The Pleasure Devil Ocean was rich in mineral resources. Just like in the past, the magnetic field was chaotic and the sky was covered by black snow. Even if it was daytime, one's vision could not penetrate 100 zhang under the cover of the black snow. With the existence of the magnetic field, ordinary cultivators would not dare to simply spread out their spirit sense. Only a white-robed young man wearing a black feather cloak walked in the wind and snow with a calm expression. He spread his spirit sense very far away as if he was not afraid of the magnetic field at all. His spirit sense was at the half-step void refinement realm. His spirit sense was much stronger than that of early divine transformation realm cultivators like Su Rushan. Each of his steps felt like he was taking a stroll in a courtyard. However, after just one step, he would disappear without a trace. With such speed, he could be considered as one of the top existences in the entire Endless Sea. Ning Fan walked through the black snow and suddenly stopped outside the Pleasure Devil Immortal Island. His eyes flickered. In the wind and snow, the entire Pleasure Devil Immortal Island was on high alert. Tens of thousands of formation lights were activated on the entire floating island. There were also countless cultivators patrolling the island as if something had happened. Could it be that Qiling's condition has worsened? I see. She's just seeking medical help. A group of 3rd and 4th Revolution Pill Masters can't cure her. Ning Fan shook his head and took a step forward. His body was surrounded by a golden-purple breeze which penetrated through countless layers of defensive formation lights and entered the island. None of them could stop him. His arrival was even more so unnoticed. At the peak of the Pleasure Devil Island, there was a floating mountain. It was called the Extreme Bliss Summit. It was transformed from the magic treasure of the island lord, Su Rushan. In the main hall of the mountain, there were dozens of pill refinement masters sitting on the guest seats. They were discussing Su Qiling's condition. All of these people were famous alchemists in the outer Endless Sea, and there were even a few who came from the inner Endless Sea. Their expressions were even more arrogant. There were 4 people sitting on the main seats. The leader was naturally the Pleasure Devil Island Master, Su Rushan. Beside him sat an old man in a linen robe. He had white hair and a youthful complexion. He was the cloud-treading sex deity transformation stage ancestor, Yan Zhongzi. There were 2 other people on the main seat. One of them was a woman in a light yellow robe. Her face was covered with a light veil, and her eyes were closed as she played the zither. The faint sound of the zither reverberated in the hall, but no one was listening. She didn't care either. This woman was none other than Su Qiling. As for the last person on the main seat, it was a dirty old man dressed like a gardener. He was only in the nascent soul stage and was eating pastries as if nobody else was around. He was Ancestor Dongxiu, who had changed his name to Shui Yi. It was clear that Dong Su had already revealed his identity to Su Rushan and received the highest level of treatment on the Pleasure Devil Island. However, his identity was not announced to the others. Ordinary people would not understand why a dirty gardener would be invited to such a solemn occasion. Other than the 4 of them, there was also a timid nascent soul realm cultivator who was serving the gardener at the side. He was old ancestor Yulong, who was once subdued by Ning Fan and left on the Pleasure Devil Island. Cough cough. Everyone, please don't argue. May I know the cause of my daughter's injuries and how can she be cured? Su Rushan let out 2 dry coughs and interrupted the discussion among the pill refinement masters. His face was filled with shame. It was because he only found out 3 years ago that his daughter was actually suffering from a strange illness that caused her to lack metal. As a father, he had failed in his duty. Everyone, please do your best to cure my daughter. If anyone has any requests, feel free to tell me. As long as it's something that I, Su Rushan, can do it without any hesitation. I will certainly satisfy all of you. Su Rushan's promise immediately made the eyes of many pill refinement masters in the main hall burn with passion. Among this batch of pill refinement masters, the least of them were peak third revolution pill refinement masters. More than half of them were fourth revolution pill refinement masters. Among the half of the fourth revolution pill refinement masters, 5 of them were mid-fourth revolution pill refinement masters, while the rest of them could not be identified. Those who would be tempted by some empty promises were mostly third revolution pill refinement masters. Every fourth revolution pill master was a person who was steady and had a sense of propriety. They would not act recklessly unless they were offered some real benefits. Old Man Su has promised you benefits. Of course, all of you will be excited. However, I have to warn you first. If all of you can't cure my niece, Chilling. Humph. Yen Zhongzi let out a cold snort. His terrifying early divine transformation realm aura swept across the main hall like a tornado. Then, he slammed his palm on a few tables at the side. In an instant, the tables were shattered into pieces. The tremendous force of his palm spread to the ground of the main hall, causing the entire blissful summit to shake violently as if it was going to collapse. Hiss, this time, even the fourth revolution pill refinement masters were slightly shocked. The blissful summit was Su Russian's natal magic treasure. It was a low-grade profound heavenly spiritual treasure. However, it was almost destroyed by Yen Zhongzi's palm strike. How strong was Yen Zhongzi's palm strike? If they did not give Su Russian a satisfactory answer today, it might be a little troublesome. With the benefits promised by Su Russian and the pressure exerted by Yen Zhongzi, the pill refinement masters finally calmed down. They stood up one by one and cupped their fists towards Su Russian and Yen Zhongzi. I'm Wang Wei, a guest pill refinement master of the Wang clan in the external endless sea. My pill refinement mastery is at the peak of the third revolution. I think that Miss Chilling's illness is caused by her lungs. According to the medical records, autumn is related to metal and metal is related to the lungs. This is a disease of the 5 viscera and is caused by the imbalance of magic power. I only need a third revolution pill to cure her illness. A green-robed young man took the lead and cupped his fists. However, other than the sentence that he quoted from the medical records, the rest of his words were pure bullshit. Even Su Russian, who did not know anything about medicine, shook his head in displeasure. If a third revolution pill could cure Su Chilling, why would he, Su Russian, go through so much trouble to find a doctor? There were almost 100 third revolution pill refinement masters on Devil Pleasure Island. Was it not enough? Master Wang, you're wrong. An old man wearing a scholar robe stood up and shook his head. Humph. Who are you? I don't think you look familiar. You must be a low-grade pill refinement master. Wang Wei was displeased. I'm Yang Gu, an elder of the Pill Island of the Internal Endless Sea. The old man smiled and shook his head. His calm tone immediately caused a commotion in the main hall. Hiss, another wave of commotion spread in the main hall. This time, even Su Russian and Yen Zhongzi's expressions changed drastically. They stood up and cupped their fists towards the old man. So it's the famous Master Yang Gu of the Internal Endless Sea. The 7 revered forces of the Internal Endless Sea were Divine Space Island, Bu Zhou Clan, Giant Devil Clan, Sword Island, Heavenly Abode Island, Demon Sealing Palace, and the last force was the Pill Island. Due to their expertise in pill refinement and the fact that they sold high-grade pills to the experts of the Internal Endless Sea, the status of the Pill Island could be said to be extraordinary. This Yang Gu was one of the 10 great pill refinement masters of the Pill Island. He had an early divine transformation realm cultivation base and had been immersed in pill refinement for thousands of years. He was already half a step into the 5th revolution pill refinement realm. Even mid-divine transformation realm experts would have to treat a pill refinement master of this level politely. Su Russian and Yen Zhongzi did not dare to slight him. Of course, Yang Gu's words carried more weight than a mere third revolution Wang Wei. Junior has been rude. Please forgive me, Senior Yang. Wang Wei began to panic. He was afraid that he had offended Yang Gu with his rude words. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you offend me. However, this is a matter of the Tao of medicine. You must not treat it lightly. A single wrong step could cost someone's life. A single mistake could cost someone's life. You must remember this. Yang Gu's tone was gentle and he had the demeanor of an elder. His words made Wang Wei feel ashamed. At the same time, it made many Third Revolution pill refinement masters feel ashamed. Many of them came here with the intention of trying their luck. They were not confident that they could cure Su Qiuling. They were just randomly prescribing pills to test their luck. This kind of thinking was the most unacceptable in the Tao of medicine. May I ask Grandmaster Yang if my daughter can still be saved? Su Rushan rubbed his palms nervously. I'm sorry. I can only say that with my pill refinement mastery that has yet to reach the 5th revolution, I can't cure your daughter. I'm sure fellow Taoist Su has already guessed the reason. It's because your magnetism divine art is too tyrannical. When your daughter was still a fetus, all the metal qi in her body had been extracted. Yin and Yang and the 5 elements are the laws of nature. None of them can be missing. Your daughter's life is short of metal and she should have died early. However, because of the ancient sword fragment that was implanted in her body, her metal qi was temporarily replenished. However, this is only treating the symptoms and not the root cause. Yang Gu sighed helplessly. He looked rather ashamed. Even a 5th revolution pill refinement master can't cure your daughter. Only if I, Venerated Pill, can help her. Venerated Pill is a 6th revolution pill refinement master. Other than him, I'm afraid no one in the Endless Sea can save your daughter. However, Venerated Pill has already traveled around the world and has yet to return. Your daughter's lifespan is less than 10 years. Yang Gu's words were like a bolt of lightning that struck Su Rushan's heart. If it was someone else who said that Su Qiuling was incurable, Su Rushan might doubt it. However, it was Yang Gu who personally said it. How could Su Rushan not believe it? Even old ancestor Dong Su could only sigh in silence. Just like what Yang Gu had said, in old ancestor Dong Su's mind, there were only 2 people who could save Su Qiuling. One of them was the venerated pill that Yang Gu mentioned. This person had traveled for hundreds of years and had yet to return. Otherwise, Dong Su would have already begged venerated pill to save Su Qiuling. The other person who could save Su Qiuling was Ning Fan. However, Ning Fan had also gone missing. Su Qiuling acted as if she did not hear Yang Gu's words at all. She was still immersed in the sound of her zither. She had long become indifferent to life and death. She had already prepared a flower grave and would bury her in the flower field after her death. If she did not meet Ning Fan, Su Qiuling would not have any regrets about her death. Now, however, she was worried that she would not be able to see Ning Fan one last time before she dies. Yang Gu's words carried too much weight. It was like a death sentence. No one dared to diagnose Su Qiuling's illness anymore. Each of the pill refinement masters shook their heads without saying a word. They also did not have any way to cure Su Qiuling. If they were to still be thick-skinned and prescribe medicine at this moment, it would be no different from slapping their own faces. Ling Er. Don't worry. No one in the Endless Sea can save you. I will risk the world's condemnation and bring you to the 800 cultivation countries to look for a 6th revolution pill master in the Rain Palace to treat your illness. Dong Su suddenly stood up as if he had made up his mind. No one knew about Dong Su's cultivation base. Only now did the pill refinement masters know that this dirty old man was Su Qiuling's master. No wonder he could attend such an important occasion with just a nascent soul realm cultivation base. Dong Su nodded at Su Rushan. Su Rushan understood and sighed helplessly. If that's the case, I can only let old ancestor Dong Su bring Su Qiuling to the 800 cultivation countries to try my luck and see if I can get a 6th revolution pill master to save her. After making up his mind, Su Rushan stood up and cupped his fists at the pill refinement masters, ordering them to leave. My daughter can no longer be saved. I'll have to trouble all of you to take care of her. Since you've come from afar, you can rest for a while on the Pleasure Devil Island. I still have some matters to attend to. I won't be able to entertain you personally. Wait. Your daughter might not necessarily be incurable. As long as she marries me, I have a way to save her. Just as the pill refinement masters were about to leave, a sharp voice suddenly resounded. The person who spoke was a short and wretched-looking skinny man with a mouth full of yellow teeth. He had the cultivation base of a peak nascent soul realm cultivator. He was staring at Su Qiuling's extraordinary figure and laughing lewdly. Master, you can eat whatever you want but you can't say whatever you want. Su Rushan was in a bad mood. He had already asked them to leave. Why did this rude person suddenly jump out? What does he mean by marrying him can save her? Who does he think he is? Is he the king of heaven? Can he cure someone that even the Pill Island can't? Little brother, the Tao of medicine is not a child's play. Yang Gu was displeased. He could not bear to see people using the name of the Tao of medicine to swindle and kill patients. That's right. Master Yang Gu is absolutely right. If the Tao of medicine can't save Miss Qiuling, then, what about the Tao of poison? The question from the wretched-looking skinny man immediately made Yang Gu speechless. In ancient times, the Tao of poison was as mysterious as the Tao of pills. Both of them could cure illnesses and injuries. It was just that they were passed down from generation to generation. The orthodox Tao of poison had branched out into Tao of poison, Tao of curses, Tao of insect expelling, and so on. Yang Gu did not know much about the Tao of poison, but he could not say that it could not cure Su Qiuling. Who are you? Are you proficient in the Tao of poison? Su Rushan's expression softened a little. I am a rogue cultivator from the Alliance of Ming Assassins. Yellowtooth. My master is a divine transformation realm expert in the internal sea. He had once obtained a certain kind of Tao of poison by chance. It's called the dual cultivation gu. This insect has been refined by me for 1,000 years, and only I can control it. As long as your daughter consumes this insect and dual cultivates with me, allowing me to cleanse her cultivation, all of her injuries can be healed. What? You have the dual cultivation gu? Upon hearing the name of the dual cultivation gu, even Su Yan, Dong Su, and Yang Gu, who did not know much about the Tao of poison, were greatly shocked. The dual cultivation gu was a kind of Tao of poison that only the ancient cultivators knew how to rear. By stimulating the power of the Tao of poison, it could cure most of the serious injuries and illnesses. This Tao of poison also had a special characteristic. Once it is refined by someone, it cannot change its owner. If this Yellowtooth really has the dual cultivation gu, he might be able to dual cultivate with Su Qiuling and cure her. When Su Rushan thought that his beloved daughter was going to be defiled by this wretched Yellowtooth, he struggled internally. This struggle also appeared on the faces of Yan Zhongzi and Dong Su. However, this might be the only way to cure Su Qiuling. How should they choose? I want to use the dual cultivation gu to save her. Not only do I need to take all of your daughter's primordial yin, but I also have another condition. I heard that Island Lord Su and that ferocious devil Zhou Ming are quite close. My master has a request for Island Lord. Island Lord must make a great heart devil oath. In the future, when Zhou Ming returns to the external endless sea and my alliance of Ming assassins kills him, Island Lord must not help us. If you agree to this, I can save your daughter's life. The yellow-toothed man sneered. He came to this place for 2 reasons. Firstly, he wanted to marry the beauty. Secondly, he was ordered by his master to destroy the friendship between the Pleasure Devil Island and Ning Fan in preparation to kill Ning Fan in the future. This time, Yellow-Toothed was representing the Ming Assassination Alliance. His tone was impolite, causing Su Rushan to frown. Your conditions seem to be too many. Whether or not my Pleasure Devil Island is on good terms with Zhou Ming, what does it have to do with your alliance of assassinating Ming? If you don't agree to this request, this Huang will naturally not make a move to save you. As for your daughter, she will definitely die. The yellow-toothed man sneered. Yellow-toothed man's conditions really put Su Rushan in a difficult position. Befriending Zhou Ming was the will of the giant demon clan patriarch. He could no longer disobey. If I don't agree to Yellow-Toothed Z's condition, I won't be able to save my daughter. What should I do? Yan Zhongzi was very unhappy. He was especially unwilling to let his lovely niece marry such a wretched man. But now he was an outsider and could not help Su Rushan make a decision. While Su Rushan was in a dilemma, a small figure who had been silent for a long time spoke. The alliance of Ming assassins is nothing. Dual cultivation Gu is nothing. If my master, Zhou Ming, returns, he can easily save Miss Qiuling. Yu Long was enraged. The person who spoke was none other than Yu Long. He had not followed Ning Fan for a long time, but he admired his master to the bone. Moreover, he had always believed that Ning Fan could save Su Qiuling. In his heart, he had long regarded Su Qiuling as Ning Fan's lover. If Ning Fan was Yu Long's master, Su Qiuling would be his mistress. This wretched yellow-toothed man in front of him really has the guts to say that he wants to snatch my mistress as his woman. Who does he think he is? Who are you? The yellow-toothed man's eyes turned cold and shifted his gaze to Yu Long. He glanced at him from the corner of his eyes and immediately felt disdain. Yellow-toothed man was a peak nascent soul realm cultivator while Yu Long was just a mid-nascent soul realm cultivator. With this kind of cultivation base, he was not a match for yellow-toothed man at all. I am the slave of venerated Ming. My name is Yu Long. Aren't you a member of the Ming Assassination Alliance? You don't even know me. You are Zhou Ming's slave. Humph. Yellow-toothed man's eyes flashed with a hint of ferocity and arrogance as he said to Su Rushan. I've made up my mind. If you want me to save your daughter, you have to promise me one more thing. I want Yu Long's head. Bang! As soon as yellow-toothed man's voice fell, Su Qiuling's delicate body trembled for the first time. The strings of her zither broke. Under the veil, the gentleness in her eyes that was originally unmoved by anything turned into indifference. Who do you think you are? How dare you touch young Master Zhou's woman? You can't take Yu Long's head away. As for me, I, Su Qiuling, will never marry you even if I have to die. Get lost. Hiss, many old monsters secretly sucked in a breath of cold air. Fairy Qiuling, who had always been gentle and quiet, could actually get angry. Why you dare to ask me to get lost? Do you know who my master is? Do you know that no one in the endless sea can save you other than me? You can only marry me. Do you want to die? Yellow-toothed man's eyes were filled with hatred. Being despised by Su Qiuling made him so angry that his voice trembled. Die? So what if I die? As the saying goes, silkworms will run out of threads until they die. If I die, I won't have to suffer the pain of yearning. I won't hold it against you for humiliating me with words. However, I won't allow you to touch young Master Zhou's men. You're a member of the Ming Assassin Alliance. I don't like to see you. If you don't get lost, I'll ask my father to kill you. Su Qiuling's expression became calm again. Her heart only moved for one person. Fine. You asked me to get lost. I'll remember this. Don't regret it in the future. Perhaps, Pleasure Devil Island will be bathed in blood soon. Yellow-toothed man sneered. It wouldn't take long for the Ming Assassin Alliance to finish their preparations. All the forces related to Zhou Ming would be destroyed. This Pleasure Devil Immortal Island was no exception, even if it was a subordinate force of the giant devil clan. Yellow-toothed man coldly flicked his sleeves and took a step out of the main hall. However, before he could take a step forward, a heaven-collapsing pressure suddenly descended from the sky. Under this pressure, no one below the divine transformation realm could stand steadily in the main hall. As for yellow-toothed man, he was at the center of the pressure. Despite having a peak nascent soul realm cultivation base, his bones and muscles trembled. His chest felt as if he had suffered a heavy blow. He took tens of steps back before he could stabilize himself. However, he was already severely injured and coughed out blood non-stop. A breeze blew in the main hall. Purple smoke flashed and a young man in white robes and black cloak slowly appeared. He looked at Yellow-Toothed Man with a cold gaze. Just now, you said that you want to take Yulong's head, bathe the Pleasure Devil Island in blood and pluck the young lady of the Su clan. Do you dare to repeat those words in front of me? That young man spoke calmly. However, his words carried a baleful chi that could make even divine transformation realm cultivators shudder. At this moment, the sky above the Pleasure Devil Island was dyed red by the baleful chi. At the moment when this figure appeared, Su Qiuling's beautiful eyes turned sour and tears suddenly flowed down her cheeks. Ning Fan has returned. He's finally back. Su Rushan and Yan Zhong's expressions changed greatly. They actually did not notice Ning Fan's arrival at all. Judging from Ning Fan's traveling light, he was obviously using a teleportation technique. It seemed like it had only been 20 years, but Ning Fan had already advanced to the divine transformation realm from the late nascent soul realm. Dong Su's expression changed. His cultivation base was the highest among them and his eyes were the sharpest. His cultivation base was at the half-step void refinement realm. After obtaining the comprehension of void force that Ning Fan had given him, he was only a step away from attaining the void refinement realm. However, even Dong Su could faintly feel that the current Ning Fan was undefeatable. Not only has this young man broken through to the divine transformation realm, but he also gave me such a strong sense of danger. What exactly is his current cultivation realm? Yulong's eyes were filled with joy and admiration. Under Ning Fan's aura force, he was as insignificant as a lone boat in the vast ocean. He immediately realized that his master had become stronger again and he was terrifyingly strong. His master has returned. The alliance of Ming assassins is just a bunch of clowns. Along with Ning Fan's appearance, each of the famous pill refinement masters and old monsters in the external endless sea became terrified. During the past 20 years, Ning Fan's infamy in the external endless sea did not diminish but increased instead. During the past 20 years, even though the alliance of Ming assassins had risen, there were rarely any old monsters who dared to openly join the alliance and go against Ning Fan. 20 years had passed and Ning Fan had returned. His strength was even stronger and his baleful chi was even heavier. Do you dare to repeat what you just said in front of me again? Ning Fan took a step forward. Yellow-Toothed Man, who was a dignified peak nascent soul, actually did not have the strength to resist at all. His physical body shattered and his nascent soul tried to escape in a panic. However, Ning Fan flicked his sleeve and kept it in his palm as if he was holding an ant. Hissed out. A strong sense of astonishment rose in the hearts of all the old monsters. This Zhou Ming has become even more ferocious than before. Even an early divine transformation realm old ancestor might not be able to kill a peak nascent soul cultivator with a single step. What exactly is Zhou Ming's current cultivation realm? Moreover, Ning Fan did not hesitate at all even though he knew that Yellow-Toothed Man was a member of the alliance of Ming assassins. He was still as bloodthirsty as before. Yellow-Toothed Man was stunned. When his tiny nascent soul was caught in Ning Fan's hand, an irresistible feeling of astonishment quickly rose in his heart. Why, you are Zhou Ming. How can you be so strong? Even my master, old ancestor Zigu, doesn't have such strength. Zigu? Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. Of course, he remembered who Zigu was. It was the third elder of the Demon Ceiling Palace. He had a grudge against Ning Fan in the past. However, he did not expect that he was still bent on killing Ning Fan even after 20 years had passed. Behind the Ming Assassin Alliance, there was the shadow of the purple goo. However, there was one thing that Ning Fan could not understand. Zigu was the third elder of the Demon Ceiling sect and he did not know about Ning Fan's strength. However, Lu Jiefan was the lord of the Demon Ceiling sect. He should know how terrifying Ning Fan was. Thus, he should not have the guts to hunt Ning Fan down. Is Lu Jiefan dead? Or did he not return to the Demon Ceiling Hall? No matter what, I will know everything after I search your soul. Without any hesitation, Ning Fan searched his soul and memories. Yellow-toothed man let out a blood-curdling scream as his soul dispersed. In the main hall, all the old monsters kept quiet out of fear. Ruthless. This forefather Zhou Ming was too ruthless. Killing people and searching their souls was a common occurrence. He did not hide it from anyone and was not afraid of the alliance of Ming assassins finding out. This was a real demon. This kind of person would not even bat an eyelid when slaughtering a sect or an island. All the old monsters felt a chill in their hearts. Zhou Ming is back. This devil must not be provoked. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.